So hello everybody and welcome to the channel. Bob Sales this time's next year. So you are gonna have to forgive me about my low energy today. I've just been to the gym and I must admit I'm absolutely dying. My energy levels are non-existent at this point, so I do apologize. So I'm sorry I missed the drop streams this week. I do apologize. I was supposed to go on bees on the Tuesday, I think, and then they kind of cut it short and then they ended up going back on. So I'm not really sure what happened that day. That was miscommunication. And then I was actually going to do the following drop, but then in the end I got so busy I couldn't do it at the time. So that's why I didn't do it, right? So I have tweeted out the stream. Hopefully we can get some people in here. I'm not sure if we can. This stream's apparently been premiering since yesterday, so I do apologize about that. The only reason for that was I went to do a stream, and then every time I tried to do a stream, there was someone there. So that weren't very good, right? So I did just want to do this stream and go over these drops. So I'll share my screen now, because I did just want to go over the decon drops. So what's going to happen is I am going to do bigger videos. I am going to do the normal Bob Sales. I actually went to do the comic yesterday. I spent about 4 hours on that, I must admit. And I spent quite a while doing that. And then Corey released his video. So it was that much of a deep dive on Corey's, excuse me. It was that much of a deep dive. It wasn't worth me doing it, right? So I was about 4 hours into doing the research and everything, listening to all the spaces and stuff, catching up, and then that happened. So yeah, not the greatest thing in the world, but that was a great video. So again, there's no point doing multiple videos, right? I am going to try and cover all the other decon drops because obviously we need to do that. So let's take a look at these drops. There's no one in here yet, surprisingly. I'm actually surprised that maybe everyone felt like I rugged them by not coming back on last week. So I did just want to drop. So I think what we'll do is pause that for a second because that is proper loud. So hopefully this is not going to be too loud. Share screen. Yeah, so it's shared. Let's have a look at these drops. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted for this music. Normally you don't on veve videos, you find, right? All nice posts to celebrate 50 years. Thinking looks alright. I'd like an animated Uncanny X-Men, which is a big best direct cartoon animated style. Same as Magneto there. So let's go back. So I think we'll start with the poster. So right now, let me just check you are seeing this on the screen. Yes, you are. So the poster is probably one of the better posters out of the lot, I must admit. What is that? Yeah, so the posters, must admit, is one of the better posters for the cons. We do always seem to get a poster. They do always seem to dump after the con. So I think this is more of a collectible for you to buy if you're at the con itself, to remember the event itself, right? It's one of them. So it has that sort of vibe for me, this sort of poster. And I do like this poster. I've got to admit, I'm a big X-Men fan. I tried to... One second. Let me just check that. One second. Sorry, I was just checking my phone. Sorry about that if there is anyone here. If not, I can cut that for later. But yeah, the poster. So I do like the con posters. They do always seem to go under retail. I do expect a 50 to 60 gem price on this. Although if veve are adapting, that may go a bit lower, right? Not sure what the additions is going to be yet. The annoying thing about this is veve did release all these early, which I appreciate. But to do a full video, I do actually need all the articles themselves, right? All the varieties, if there's any different ones. And I can't actually see the back of the poster. Let me have a look, see if I can find the back of that poster. Ah, no, see, don't even let me see the back of the poster right now. So that's a bit of a letdown. I like to see what's on the back. See if it's got any signatures, anything. There's 60 years in the corner there. So, yeah, again, I am a huge X-Men fan. I must admit, I do really like the X-Men. Now, for me, I prefer the X-Men, the second incarnation, right? Which we already have that book in veve, I must admit. But I prefer the second lot of X-Men. The first lot, you could tell what year it was because of the way they were made at the time. Some of the characters were a bit plain, some of them were a bit common, right? Bit boring considering what today's superheroes are like. But at the same time, it's like with all these superhero comics and stuff, they tried to tell the story as characters themselves, right? So let's go and have a look. So yeah, 60 gems. I won't be going for that poster at all. I don't care what the edition size is. I will not be going for that poster. And I do love X-Men, but that will dump aftermarket, right? Now, Kingpin himself does actually look really nice. Again, it's a Marvel Daredevil collectible. Now, I did like the Ben Affleck Daredevil film. I must admit, that was one of my favorite films. I did really like that film. And again, the way the characters were played wasn't the best. But for a film about superheroes when it weren't being done at the time, that was basically the first foray into that. That and Blade and stuff like that. They were the first couple of superhero movies, right? The first attempt at them. I mean, Daredevil itself was a bit cartoonish, but I liked the film, I must admit. Now, Kingpin, this all depends on price. As you can see, there's probably no animation. It is probably going to be one collectible in one pose, hopefully. Again, if there was to make an animated, I do always prefer the animation over no animation, I must admit. But yeah, the collectible looks nice. I think it's kind of in that cartoony style. So I kind of do like it. But again, that's probably going to bomb in the aftermarket, depending on the price, right? If it's 30 gems, that's no biggie. I think people might pay that. But I think any more than 30, I think that's a lot. So X-Men Uncanny 1963. So this is actually not called an Uncanny X-Men book, to be fair. This is just X-Men 1, issue 1, right? Now, this is a very high value book. I will do a deeper dig on this one. Again, the characters in this book are not the X-Men most of us are used to, like the 90s X-Men, I must admit. Not my favorite bunch of X-Men in there. But again, it was the start of things to come. So I do like that book. I think the value's about 800,000 for a 9.6, I believe. So if a 9.8 was to come in the market, I think there's only two that exist so far that have been found. I think if a 9.8 was to come on the market now, it's probably a $1 million comic, right? So that is a high value comic that is definitely worth going for. Again, without even seeing the mints on this one, it is going to be worth going for. Whether or not it gets dumped in the aftermarket is always a thing with these comics. They normally tend to after a while, right? Everything's gone down on all the comics and everything. But that could lead to good stacking opportunities if that's you, right? So I do actually think this is a really good book. I think you're stupid if you do not go for this drop. So, and also pay attention to the drop times here as well. There's no 8 a.m. PT. So this is 11 a.m. ET. So I really need to check these times and make sure what sort of times they line up with, right? Yeah, because they're all ET. So I've really got to check all that because obviously normally it's PT, 8 a.m. PT, which is normally 4 p.m. UK time. And obviously that ain't going to be 4 p.m. UK time. So I need to work all that out. Again, that's to go with the events, right? What else we got on here? Let's have a look at the rest. So now Professor X. I'm really not sure on this one, I must admit. Really, really not sure on this one. I do like the collectible itself, and I do like that veve had attempted a new art style. I do like that they're trying new things again. I must admit, sometimes they don't pay off, sometimes they do. Unless you take the jump and do the risk, you're not going to know, right? Now, the cart itself is not the best, but again, this does look like Professor X from the comic books. So I do really like that. And I think in a recent film, I can't remember whether it was Ant-Man or something like that. It was one of them films right at the end. There was a viewing of Professor X and some of the X-Men and a couple of other characters in there and all. But again, the animation for me lets that one down. I am a bit of an animation I am a bit of an animation guy now. Maybe I'm being a bit spoilt, right? We used to have no animations, and it went from having a couple of like movements like what we've got here, for instance. I'm not even sure I like the cartoon style of the ray itself, but again, I understand that if the thing's a cartoon style, then you got to have the ray that style. And again, with Magneto, they've done exactly the same with the style. I'm not too sure on his face, I must admit. And I'm not too sure on the effect. Hello, sweetness. Are you missing daddy? Are you missing daddy? Yeah, are you pretty girl? Do you love daddy? Do you love daddy? Is that what you're trying to? Are you coming to sit on daddy's lap while he does the video? You come and sit on daddy's lap while he does the video? I can't play fetch in a minute, buddy. No, I can't. Come sit on daddy's lap while I play the video. Come on, all the people would like to see you. Not that there's anyone here, but all the people would like to see you anyway. Are you not coming on? Are you not coming on, princess? My cat's so cute, I must admit. I take it. Oh, we have got people in here. I do apologise for that. I was getting so off piece there. I've got my cat in here. Let me say hello to everyone and then I'll carry on where I was. Double quill. I like the posters, but I always get them in the aftermarket. See, I'm with you. I do like the posters. I didn't like the Spider-Man one. I think that was the worst one for me. I really didn't like that one. I don't know why. It just weren't for me. And then the film with all the Spider-Men in, I also didn't like that. I found that a bit cheesy, I must admit. And Double Quill is just written a blog. I know there's not many people in here right now, but Double Quill is just written a blog. So I beg you, go and read that. I'd much appreciate that. I haven't actually read it myself yet, but I'm going to do that. I always read them blogs. It's one of the first things. I even get them emailed to me now, so that's a great thing. G43, happy Sunday, Bob Sales. No poster for me, been burned too many times. I don't blame you. The posters are a bit of a burn. The only posters I actually have is one Predator poster, and I did buy that on drop, got burned. And I got one Alien poster. I did buy that on drop and also got burned. And I got one James Bond poster and I did buy that on drop and got burned. But I did get mint 100 for the James Bond poster. And it was the only James Bond poster I've ever liked. So I did actually keep that. And I don't know whether you can see me as clearly as normal, but I have actually got a new camera. So I can actually do things like this now. Hey, look at that. How good is that? And I can even zoom in on my ugly mug. See? Pretty cool, right? So I'm not sure if I like this one yet, but I'm going to have a little ganders. But yeah, nice control, right? So it's pretty cool. Bob Sales going up in the world. Best part of the Daredevil movie was the soundtrack. Oh, I like the Daredevil movie, I must admit. But then I was a lot younger when I watched it. I have watched it since. Again, there wasn't a lot of fighting in it. I think most of the action scenes was in the park, and that was when he was playing with Elektra. So that wasn't even a fight scene, really. But I did like the way they do it. I did like the way Ben Affleck played the blind man, I must admit. He played Daredevil a lot better than he plays Batman. What's up, Gus? It's good to see you, mate. What's up, Ash? And my real name is Ash, so just in case you don't know. All announcements for New York Comic Con drops are mid-inception X-Men 1. All announcements for New York Comic Con drops are mid-inception X-Men. You're going to have to explain that to me, mate. I don't know whether I'm actually reading that wrong or what's going on with that. Oh, I'm kind of like Joe, right? So I've got no one to speak to in here at the minute, but I've still got my earphone in. So, yeah. Yes, Gus, I agree. So someone's going to have to explain that last bit to me. I'm in exception. Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you. So you're basically saying that the drops are basically they're mid-tier. I 100% agree with you. We will carry on going through them, but yeah, I 100% agree with you. I expected a lot more, I must admit. So let's go back to the page 1 second. So yeah, Magneto. Again, it's the animations for me. The animations are not really doing it. But I can appreciate again that they're doing a new style, if that makes sense. I do like the cartoon. I'm not sure if I like it or not. And will it match up to all your other collectibles in AR and stuff like that? Or will it just look odd standing in the corner of your showroom? That's the other thing. So that's pretty much the mid-tier stuff. The X-Men's the best drop there, I must admit. Now let me get to the major bit we're looking for. phone. Let's keep going off. So let me take you to the exciting bit. This comic. So I was actually going to do this a deep dive on this comic drop, and it didn't actually pay off because 4 hours into the dig, Corey released a wicked video. So there's no point even making a video after that. But yeah, let's get into this comic. We'll get into all the stuff related to this because I am excited about this, and I'm English and I'm not going to the event. So I'm pretty annoyed about that. That is the only thing. We've got a worldwide app, and yet all of these things seem to only be for Americans only. So if there's anyone going to New York Comic Con, I have asked a couple of people now to try and pick me up some stuff. If you're willing to, let me know. So let's go to the actual thing itself. Share this tab instead would probably help. So I like this book. So keep ZQ Studios X veve The Addiction. So this is a really nice book. I love the cover arts. I've never, obviously it's a brand new book, brand new independent company, I believe, that's doing this. This is not Marvel related. So yeah, this is going to be cool. So debuting at New York Comic Con 2023, The Addiction is one of our first forays into the physical comic world. Drops digitally on veve Thursday, the 12th of October at 8 a.m. PT, which of course is not 4 p.m. UK time. I think that's 6 p.m. UK time, right? So it's 2 hours later than the normal drop. So there is a brief explanation here about the Doctor herself. So I will try and explain that in the best way I can. 1 second, my phone is actually ringing. Give me 2 seconds. Give me 2 seconds to answer this phone call and I'll be with you. Hello, so we're back. So we'll try that again, right? Sorry, I had to answer that. So let's go back to where we were. I was back on here. So let's go to this. So what was I explaining? Right, so the details. So I don't know whether you've watched Corey's video. If you haven't, I probably would suggest going there. I did actually later on go back into Heather's Twitter spaces and write all this down so I can make a deep dig video on it. And then it kind of got spoiled by Corey's one, which was an absolute great video. So there's no point making another one after that, right? So this comic is basically based on a Nikki Tino. So Dr. Nikki Tino to you. So Nikki has basically been running a surgery to help addicts, to save addicts all her life. So I think one of her parents was actually a drug user, and this was what actually inspired the doctor to then go on to start saving people's lives. But this wasn't as a superhero, this was as a doctor. So she was actually saving people from their addictions, not her own. She didn't have no addictions, she was saving people with drug addictions, right? So the only thing is, she started to get that big and started to do that well. She made a name for herself. So she made a name for herself as one of the big doctors. So after a while, the cartel started to find out, the kingpins started to find out, and they actually hatched a plan. I don't know how I'm explaining this so well, by the way. But yeah, they actually hatched a plan that they were going to kidnap her, and they'd made a special concoction of drugs, and they were going to give her the drugs. And once they give her the drugs, it was basically supposed to make you feel like a 20-year drug user all in one. It was supposed to give you all the effects, make you look like a druggie, make you feel like a druggie, make you go cold turkey, like you've been on drugs for 20 years, but all in one. They were then going to release footage of that and stuff like that, and then we're going to set her up, right? That was the plan. So then they could basically shame her. Well, basically shame her. So no one would keep going to that clinic. So everyone thought bad of her. So then next minute, all the drug users come back, right? That was the idea. And then it put a stop to her. Well, the plan was, it didn't go well. They did try and execute the plan, but somehow her blood reacted with the drug concoction. And then she actually formed into some sort of mutant. So she actually died first. And then she comes back to life, but now she's come back to life with a superpower, right? So she's actually come back to life with a superpower. And the superpower is a really cool superpower, I must admit. You can basically touch anyone. By the power of touch, she can inject any drug into your body. So essentially, she can save people, she can infect people, she can control people, she can make people sleep, make people die. She can do whatever she likes with one touch of the hand. So that is pretty cool. Now, the other thing I have noticed is I don't see no 18 warning or nothing like that, no mature content on this book. So I'm pretty surprised about that. We did have one, I think it was the, what's her name? X23. That was the one that was kind of like that, where we had mature content on the front. So it must not be too bad inside, must not be over the limit of 16 to 18 mature content wise. But again, look at the cover art. Absolutely amazing, right? So we'll get back to that in a minute. So that is the story of that. So with this book, it is being created by Vincent, and I'm not going to try and say that second name because honestly, how do you say that second name? Zorzulo, maybe that's how you say it. But yeah, this has been co-created by Vincent Zizulu, or however you say it, right? Which is president of Metropolis Comics and Comic Collect. Now, if you do go and search them sites up, that is essentially eBay for comic books. And Vincent himself did actually explain that he's been collecting comic books his whole life. He's been creating comic books his whole life. They used to fold paper, A4 paper, and then make their own comic books that way, which I actually have done that as a kid, I must admit. That actually is one of the things they teach you to do in school. But yeah, ever since then, he's been buying and selling comics his whole life. But these are physical comics. Now, if you go on the site, it does actually dabble in VHS now because some people are starting to see value in that. It dabbles in cards, it dabbles in toys, collectibles, a lot of DC Direct stuff you can get on there. Now, I'm not sure if it's marked up a little bit. I would imagine it probably is marked up a little bit because the whole point of the site is a buying and selling business, right? But at the same time, Vincent himself is an avid collector and he loves collecting by the looks of it. And some of the stuff they have in that store is high price items, and they do auctions in there as well. And I must admit, I think he actually said they were the first company, not a person, but the first company to sell a comic book for over $1 million online. So that is actually a pretty cool company. Now, the site's not the easiest to work. I must admit that does need clearing up a little bit. It does start to overlayer itself a little bit. But yeah, that is pretty cool feature, right? And the other writer is David Quinn, and he actually wrote loads of books before. He's actually took part of Marvel's Doctor Strange. I think that's, Sorcerer Supreme. So yeah, he's actually a big writer. And then there's Claudia, which does the inside panels, right? Because you've got a whole bunch of other comic artists listed here for every single cover. The only one I can't see is who's done the VV own covers, but we did actually find that out later because it's actually signing them. So we'll start with this bit first. So visitors to the New York Comic Con booth 3537 can meet the creators and purchase comics and merch featuring The Addiction. We're premiering 8 limited edition variants of issue 1. So there's 18 limited edition variants. I'm not sure how many of them are going to be, how many numbers for each 18. Are there just 18 limited ones, or are there 10 of each one of that 18, if that makes sense, right? So I'm not sure, but that is really cool. So the New York Comic Con variants have features like embossing foil, hollow foil, virgin covers, and the VV variants. So that is pretty awesome. So like you've seen on a lot of Pokemon cards, like hollow foil and stuff like that, that's what gives it the shine effect. So yeah, I'm really excited about this comic, guys. I'm not going to lie. I'm really excited, and I'm not even at the event. I can't even get it, so I'm going to have to get someone to pick it up. Hopefully I've got someone in mind, so I'm really hoping he comes through for me because I would really appreciate that. I mean, look at the room. It's bad enough trying to get the Funko in a minute because that's the one I've not sealed down right now. So we'll get into the actual comic book itself. So let's take a look at the covers. As I say, I was going to do a deep dig on this, but then Corey done one, so I really didn't want to spend 10 hours making a really good video for no one to watch. So this one is a common cover. This is the David Mack cover. And actually, he's really big. I must admit, I didn't go into that, but he's actually really big. And as you can see, that is a really nice cover. I explained it in one of my VVverse collectible videos that female art does sell. It's always a thing, and it sells to women and males. It don't just sell to males, right? Female art does sell, and this is like anime style art, and I really do like the art style. I'll show you a comic book in a minute. It reminds me of. So the VV red cover, as you can see here, there's no artist listed for this one. It is actually in the details above, but you've actually got to guess who's doing this right now. But there is some being signed, but we're going to get to that. So that actually shows you who it is, right? But again, this cover is absolutely popping. I love this cover. And then you got the VV pizza box. So to everyone saying these are not real partnerships, there's VV on the box. There's VV on the Funko box. There's VV redemption codes in the boxes, which then point you to VV. So obviously it's a VV partnership, right? That argument squashed. Let's not make stupid suggestions like that, right? So anyway, this cover is probably one of my favorites of the bunch, the Uncommon. And if anyone knows anything about me, the Uncommon is normally my normally least favorite cover, right? And this one is actually popping. I love this cover. Let me just get a swift drink. I will say hello to the chat in 2 seconds. Just going on with this quick, 1 second. So the rare, again, is absolutely lovely. And this one's the Art Gem cover. And this is, I think, one of the biggest artists out of the lot of them right now. And I did actually start going into the details of that, but I didn't get very far. But yeah, this artist is a very big artist. And again, look at the cover. That is absolutely smoking. So I do really love that cover. Not sure what first New York. So that could be part of the variants, right? Because it's got the New York Comic Con thing, issue number 1 at the top. So that could be one of the special variants. So Addiction Blue. Now, I prefer the Uncommon, I must admit. But if I was to get either of these covers, I'm not going to lie, they're absolutely killer. I absolutely love the art on these. I cannot lie. They're absolutely brilliant. Again, no artist listed for this one, but we will get to that. And again, with this one, artist is listed there. Now, everyone knows that watches the channel, this is not a kick to the artist. I don't like the black and white covers, and I know Double Quill's gonna be killing me in the chat there because I know she loves them, right? But I really don't like the black and white covers. Now, the best thing about this is there's no colored version, so that does make this a unique cover. So that's why I like this cover. Any other time I'd have said no. Black and white's just personal preference is not for me. So I'm not trying to fud everyone's black and whites, but for personal preference, I like a bit of color in my life. So as you can see by the flashing rooms, right? And you like my Batman light? I finally put it up properly, by the way. I've got a Michael Bisping one. I'll show you that one later when I can move my camera about. And that. But yeah, this is a secret rare. And I think this is, overall, look at these covers. For a first pop at a comic book, that is an interesting comic. Now let's get to the pricey editions and stuff like that. So the list price is a surprising, and this is obviously for the digital. We have no clue about the physicals, right? But the list price for this is a surprising $6.99. Now I'm actually really shocked at that. I must admit, really shocked at that. It's low edition. It's one of Vivi's first partnered comic books. It's got Vivi on the front cover. So I'm actually really shocked about that. I thought maybe they could have done this at a 10 gem, 15 gem, and no one would have cried about that. And I think this is an instant sellout, 100 million%. I don't think it's even possible of not selling out at this. So let's take a look. So there's a couple of things to note here. So the first available public edition will be 204. So as you know, that is a lot higher than normal, right? So I'm guessing that is something to do with the event, something to do with the stuff they're selling at the event. And I'm also guessing the bottom bit is too. A total of 850 editions across all 5 rarities will be withheld by Vivi and the licensor. Now, again, this is a Comic-Con book. And again, Vivi are going to do what they like. But that is higher than I've ever seen it, I think. And considering the editions is just under 7,000, I'm actually pretty shocked. I'm just got to itch my nose. 1 second. I'm not picking it. I've got to itch it. Sorry, that was really bothering me. But yeah, again, 850 editions. That is a lot held back. But the reason is obviously going to be, there's going to be giveaways at the event itself. People are buying physicals there. So maybe they can match it to the physical. I'm not sure how that works. We've not have so much details on the physicals as maybe we could have done. But again, I think everyone's going to buy them. I think that's an instant sellout. And again, with the events, I went to the first UK event and we haven't had one since, obviously, but they had nothing for sale. The only thing they had for sale was Jermaine t-shirts, Jermaine Rogers t-shirts, and there was 100 of them for about 1,000 people, right? So only 100 people got them. So if you was at the event, you couldn't even buy a veve t-shirt. Now, we actually mentioned this to Alex and David and stuff at the time, and they actually said the reason was because they didn't just want to sell people t-shirts and then try and make profit off the t-shirts, which we then did actually explain to them. Well, you could always sell it for cost, right? It doesn't hurt. People are now selling your t-shirts on Amazon. You may as well take the extra income. It's good for us. It's good for you. And plus, everyone wants a veve t-shirt, right? You should, if you go to these events, it would be good to have boxes of these t-shirts so everyone can feel like they've got something from the veve team in person. Remember the event. So yeah, I think that's a really good thing to do. So again, this is waitlist blind box format, and the editions are very, very low. So I did actually want to go over a couple of things on Twitter. So we'll go back to Twitter. Let me get you back to the right page because there's a couple of things relating to this comic. And I will get back to the chat in 2 seconds because there's a couple of other things. So right now, you can see here is one of the cover artists. This is, I believe, not that guy. This guy here, Andreas. I believe this is the one that made the veve covers. And obviously the uncommon and the uncommon and the ultra rare are the same covers. So he probably made both covers. Whether or not he colored them or not, there is a different colorist listed. So that could be for all the covers at this point. You never know. With these covers, it's hard to tell a lot of the time who's doing what. And it's always been like that, but a lot of the time it was like the Stan Lee Marvel days. A lot of the times it was just Stan Lee always put down as the writer, right? Even though Jack Kirby and people like that done exactly the same job. They've done just as much writing later on. They created the Hulk and stuff like that. But it was always Stan Lee getting the credit, which that did actually come to blows later on during their time. But again, look at this. So the cover art is signing our limited edition signature series. So there's a limited edition signature series for sale. We got that much already. Oh, now I've lost it again. Can you believe it? There it is. Signature series. And these are 9.8s apparently. So I reckon these, I don't know whether these are actually going to be slabbed before they get to the event or whether you're going to have to slab them and they're just calling the 9.8s because they're raw copies, right? The Addiction veve comic book, will you get one? Of course, I think everyone's going to be mad not to get one of these. So I think with the Funko, as we see with all these partnerships have come down in prices now, right? So the $6.99 digital is going to be the lowest cost. The Funko's mid-range at $150. And I still think that's an absolute bargain, by the way. And then there's the higher price items with the Louboutin. I hate saying that name, by the way. Louboutin, whatever his name is. Not Louis Vuitton, but it's Louboutin, right? So don't get that confused. But yeah, that is an absolute huge brand as well. But 4K for a pair of shoes for a woman. I mean, the Sea Warrior shoes look absolutely stunning for a woman. They would go really nice on like someone like Dua Lipa. But for 4K, not a lot of people's got that sort of money. But I did find a few people that's brought them, so I'm really happy for them. The NFTs are actually already on. Some of them, the ones where you get with the order, I can see how they're on, but I can't see how the other ones are on yet because the event's not actually happened yet, right? So yeah, again, this is another absolute blinder for the event right now. Signing the comics to sell at the event, as far as I can see. And then there was a little small thing on here as well. This is the other little small thing. So this is a fun but small thing. So this is Vincent himself. And I think Vincent's actually going to be a popular figure around here. I'm hoping there's going to be more partnerships with Vincent because he actually seems like a really sound guy. And he actually explained his story of how he found veve. And he was selling physical comics at one of his booths at one of the event. And someone actually walked past and said, "Oh, I've actually got that Daredevil myself." "Oh, yeah, it's nice to see a physical collector." He goes, "I haven't actually seen any physical collectors around here, I must admit." And then he pulled out his phone and showed him his veve one. And rather than being salty about it, like a lot of comic shops are, a lot of comic book owners are, he actually see the vision. And instead of just seeing the vision, he actually thought, well, how could I implement myself into that system? That's another way of spreading my new comic about when it comes to fruition, right? So that's another way of getting in. So The second event come and he had the same experience. He's like, right, we've got to sort something out at this point. So yeah, he sounds like absolute really nice guy. So this is the other funny thing. So Nikki's favorite pizzeria in New York is Grimaldi's, I think that says, at the Limelight, 20th and 2nd. If you order the Addiction Special Pie, pepperoni, mushrooms, and truffle oil, oh, I don't know about truffle oil. You get a QR code to get a sneak peek of the Addiction one. It's the first time a comic has been launched with a pizzeria. So not only is it the first time it's a VV partnership with a comic brand, their first comic pretty much, it's VV's partnership with a lot of different artists. And again, it's VV's partnership with another big company that seems to be doing really good on sales, I must admit. So yeah, and the guy seems to be kind of like Ron English, where he wants to be involved in the community at this point. So I'm hoping this may not be a one-off. But again, VV, you can't kill the magic with 20 releases of this, right? So it all depends on that. And I do like the look of the story. The stories look amazing. Again, here's some more of the artworks here. And these, I think, are the physicals. I'm sure that was a physical. No, that's the digital. Sorry. But yeah, these are absolutely amazing. So I will get back to the chat now, but I do love that. I think that's the most exciting bit about the whole thing. That and the X-Men comic. Of course, you've got to go for the X-Men comic, but that is exciting, that book, I must admit. And I am actually trying to find someone to get me one. I'm trying to get someone to get me a Funko, and it's costing a lot of money this month. I'm supposed to be going to London with some of the boys and some of the VV fam. I'm also supposed to be going meeting Metaverse Life there. So yeah, it's been a rough week. And then I'm trying to cover the drops at the same time. I was actually supposed to be streaming all these drops because I can't imagine there's a lot of people that's going to be here to do it. And of course, My Collectibles and VV Arcade and Wazaverse and everyone like that is going to the event. They all still need someone to watch drop day, right? So now I'll come off here and I'll just check up with the chat 1 second. So we'll remove that, get Bob's big head back. So I don't know where we got to in the chat. So I apologize for ignoring you. G43 comic definitely only guaranteed profit for flippers. I'm not 100% sure. I think it is a guaranteed profit, I must admit. And the way the comics are at the minute, you're probably better to sell right away on a lot of this stuff. A couple of secret rares I actually got recently, and I did actually flip them straight away, knowing that the price was going to go to 25 gems. The comics are getting really bad at the minute, I must admit. Gossel, hopefully the unannounced drops are fire. Well, that's the thing. And I do hate the unannounced drops because I always seem to miss them. So I've really got to keep an eye on that this week and try and actually catch them and keep gems in the account as well. It's like the VV comic book. I've got enough to buy that, but it does actually, there's no actual max limit as well. It says you can buy up to 20, which I was surprised at that also. And I think I'm going to buy as many as I can with, I think 60, 70 gems I have in the account. I think that's going to be my play. G43 Comics and Crypto just released an interesting video of the top 10 comics in VV and DC. Let me scratch my nose. I don't know what is going on. Sorry. Comics and Crypto just released an interesting video of the top 10 comics on VV and DC Marketplace. I have actually done one before. I do need to revisit some of them top 10s. I normally pull them sort of videos out when there's nothing to do. I must admit, they're normally interesting around then. And the last one I've done, I didn't have that many subscribers at that point, and it didn't really go off too well. But it was a great video, and I do need to do something other than drop sometimes on this channel, which is why I'm doing this live stream now. I am going to do some deep dives on some of these drops, but not all of them, because some of them, like what Gus was saying earlier, are mid-tier drops. I expected a lot more, I'm not going to lie. I must admit, with comics and crypto, I don't really watch them too much, I must admit. I think the first thing that put me off comics and crypto, and this is not saying nothing bad about the guys, but I think what the first thing that put me off is when they started to mention about degrading comics, and they were actually going to be the ones that were going to grade them for VV to say what your grade is as a digital comic that was deteriorating. And I think that's where they lost me around that point, because I was just like, yeah, so you're making it so you're the only ones that can judge the degrading on the comics. I mean, that was only a hint at the time, and again, don't go off me. Enjoy enjoy whoever you like. But again, I don't really tend to watch comics and crypto, I must admit. And they're very knowledgeable blokes. One sec, that's me. I can't do DC. They don't want to take my money. Yeah, you keep getting banned, right? Oh, my nose. I've got such an itch. I don't know what's wrong with it. So I can't do CC. They don't want my money. Yeah. So I had that problem last time, I must admit. And it's also the worst platform site in the world. It's not the worst because McFarlane's there. And I think it's not the quality. It's not the NFTs. It can't be the NFTs, right? DC has a record for 100 years of comic history, right? So it's definitely not that. They've got film history, they've got toys, they've got the lot, right? DC are not going down anytime soon. But the problem is with DC is the site. 100 million% is the site. Even if you, so I do like to flip a lot of the times to then buy other things, right? A couple of times I've got items on DC, and I'm not a fan of searching your whole mint number into a whole nother site to try and find out what your mint number is. I think that's absolutely wild. I think that's crazy. And do you think anyone in the market is actually going down 100 listings and then checking every single mint number to see who's got the lowest mint number? Come on. So I've got a secret rare. Well, I've got a legendary in there, a Wonder Woman one, and that thing's been listed for about $100 for months, and that has never sold. And its mint number, it's a really low mint number, right? I haven't tried to advertise it or anything, but it just goes to prove my point that with that one, you can't actually get that. You can't actually get that information easy, and I think it's too hard. And it's like the floor prices. So you go into your account, you have to either write down what you've got or try and remember it. And then you have to then go to the marketplace and actually go through list by list. And then you've got all the marketplace listings that are still there, that are just frozen in time, that have actually sold or not sold. And you just click it and it's like, no, sorry, not available. And it's like, why are they still there then if they're not available? Come on. So I actually think DC has got a proven record. I'm not a fan of the degrading covers on DC, I must admit, but they did stop that trend halfway through, if you noticed. They only done 3 or 4 like that, and then they stopped it, and then recently they brung it back again. Now, I don't know about you, but if both go down to 0, I'm going to prefer looking at my nice crisp veve ones than the DC one. And I worked that out pretty early on into the app, so I think I have about 12 to 15 DC comics. I've never sold one of them, I must admit, because none of them have ever sold, right? Even the ones I did list just never sold. So it's a weird one with DC. And DC are struggling right now. And I don't care what anyone says. If it weren't for that last comic, the Batman #1 with the... Yeah, if it weren't for that comic first appearance of the Joker or whatever it was at the time, I can't remember what it was. But yeah, if it weren't for that comic, DC were... Another couple of weeks, DC were having problems. We're already merged with Candy. There's a reason for that. It's not because both of them need the partnership. It's because one of them was struggling. One of them was struggling, right? So I think that's what it was. And again, DC keep trying to introduce more stuff. The Batcow floor went to 400 at some point. I'm not sure where it is now, I must admit, but it went to 400. That is worryingly low. Again, I had a bet with someone a year ago about this, and I was like, look, you paid $600 for your Batcow. I can guarantee you that is going to be under that next year. And I wasn't trying to hate on the guy. I wasn't trying to hate on the project. But every new project that comes along, everyone's like, yeah, it's better than veve. It does so much more than veve. And it's like, dude, you wouldn't be here if it weren't for veve. Like, every single project is all veve users, right? So that's the thing. Some of the projects are good, some of them are bad. But we're all veve users. Let's not pretend we're not. So, and let's not pretend that veve's 2.5-year sales record doesn't put them in front of everyone else right now, because it does. Some of these other companies have been going 6 months and their sales records is nothing compared to veve. So yeah, but yeah, I think I'm not really going for DC stuff, I must admit. And that's the other thing exciting about DC, actually. They're starting to do physicals. Now, I do know Batcow fam that do want physical stuff. So I do like that idea, but again, I think it's too late for that platform. I think that platform's in worrying place right now, and I think DC was a bit stupid to split off the veve platform. I think they should have released their comics on there. I do think the comics would have done a lot better on there, and it would have lasted longer. DC's released about a year worth of comics, and it's already, I mean, within the first 6 months, the decline was already there, right? Yeah, platform's difficult to navigate. Comment, hey Bob, I'll listen in. What's up, Daniel Marquez? Always throw rockets out for that man there. He's such a positive guy around the world. And he's not even, and sometimes he's having a bit of a rough time. I know some of his family's been ill. So shout out to Daniel and fire rockets in the chat. Pew, pew, pew. I haven't actually got a rocket anywhere. I'm sure I have. I'm sorry if all these lights are a bit blind in here. I really should turn a light on. My actual light's not on over here. I mean, I do think my camera's pretty cool though. Look, hey, look at that. Look at that. That's pretty awesome. But don't want to zoom it out too far because then you'll see what's actually on my that side. You actually see all my clothing hanging there. But yeah, it's pretty cool, right? And you like my Michael Bisping light down there? See it in the bottom corner there? Pretty cool, I must admit. So yeah, I don't know what I've done there. Now I've pressed the wrong button and now I broke my camera. Right, let's zoom back in. Oh, we don't want to go that close. Jesus. Right, so there we go. So I don't know whether that's going to keep re-triggering it or not. But yeah, you see my Michael Bisping light down the bottom there. It's really cool. I don't know why I'm pointing like that because you can't see it. But yeah, good to see you, Daniel. G43. What are the 10 comics? So be fair, we've actually got some crazy value comics. I did actually do that video, so you might want to go back because I think I just covered the VV ones. I was going to do the DC ones, but at the time I was just going to do another separate video. But there is still some comics out there to come, but we have got most of the grails in VV now, and they're not the best prices. So maybe the plan is to now just buy up what's not been bought up. But again, the comics are struggling right now. So should you buy anything right now? Should you buy collectibles right now? I don't know. I mean, I admit I'm still buying, but my buying's certainly slowed down. I mean, I do go for every X-Men comic because I like X-Men. So, and I like to take the risk on that one. I do tend to go for the Disney ones. The last Disney one was the only one I haven't gone for. In fact, did I go for that one? No, I didn't go for that one. I think that was the only one I haven't been for a while, and I think I brought one in the market. But I normally get good mints on them one. I normally get like 203 or something like that mints. So I do like them comics. But yeah, comics are pretty worrying. We need the next move. And I think that's the same with all the wallets. There's a lot of people right now just sitting there. A lot of people feel like they've lost the money already, that maybe the space isn't picking up. And a lot of them are just waiting for the next step, and then they will be back. All them wallets are still holding NFTs, right? A lot of them, okay, some of them have been found out. Some of them are probably dormant. Some of them probably hold 1 or 2 NFTs, which are obviously going to get forgot about accounts, right? But again, I do think people will be back first couple of weeks of the VVverse. Whether or not that keeps everyone back, I'm not 100% sure. But I know first 3 weeks of the VVverse, everything's going to pump. The value of the platform is going to pump, and all these partnerships is just adding value, I must admit. And I think with the shoes, that was one thing. I don't know whether you watched my video about the Louis Vuitton shoes, but with them shoes, the Red Soul shoes, they're a fashion statement. There is Kate Middleton, our Duchess, so soon to be queen at some point, or in line to be queen at some point. She wears a pair of them. I see Beyonce in them. I've seen Katy Perry in them like hundreds of millions of times. Different shoes. I mean, there's Carol Vorderman, if you know who that is. If you're old enough to know who that is. And she still looks really nice, Carol Vorderman, I must admit. Like for an older woman. And that just proves you can still look amazing, right? Who else? Reese Witherspoon. Dua Lipa. Like, there's so many artists that are in them shoes right now. That is a big fashion statement. So whether or not that's to get bigger money into the app, like more whales, because that could potentially happen, right? Or whether or not that was to get celebrities into that, that's always an idea. Maybe the celebrities will come into the app. But I do feel that some of them people that are going to buy them shoes are buying just for the shoes. And I'm not 100% sure they're going to care about the NFT because some people are just too rich to care, right? So maybe they don't care. But then maybe they're big Marvel fans because it's a Marvel collection. So if they're getting the Marvel stuff, they may as well get the NFT with it. We'll move on. The digital uncommon addiction should do well this time since it's one of the physical. Yeah, I think that's an absolutely smashing way to look at it. There is 18 other covers though, so we're not sure how they're going to look different or not. But yeah, I think both of them physical covers, both VV covers are the best covers. And again, art-wise, I think they're the best covers. So let me just turn a light on and I'll actually show you something. Right, I'm back. All right, hopefully you can see me a bit better now, right? I did want to show you something. So, one of the creators of the comic book, well, one of the artists, I think it was the panel artist, actually used to do work for Dark Horse Comics. So we've seen a lot of Dark Horse Comics getting closer and closer to coming in veve, but we haven't actually seen any Dark Horse Comics. But we've seen a lot of people in connection with Dark Horse Comics recently. A couple of times I've seen it pop up. So I'm hoping Dark Horse, sorry, burping and dying at the same time. But yeah, I'm hoping Dark Horse Comics is going to be a really good one. Now, this is one of my Dark Horse comics, I must admit. And as you can see, this is Colonial Aliens Marines, and this is an absolute thriller of a comic. I mean, look at the comic cover. Isn't that a crazy comic? You don't even need to read that to see how great of a comic cover that is. And again, look, always with the old advertising, Terminator, the arcade game. I love the old advertising in the comics, I must admit. It's one of the best things. But as you can see in the corner, Dark Horse Comics, right? And this is an alien one, and this is really cool. It's like they've done a lot of Dark Horse comics where it's Alien versus Predator and Alien versus Superman, or like stuff like that, like random characters going against each other. And the other comic book, what I wanted to show you related to this is this: Something is Killing the Children. So no one's probably heard of this film, this comic book, but as you can see, look at this comic book. Isn't that an awesome cover? And again, I am male. Males do buy a lot of female art. And look at that. Isn't that awesome, right? Kind of reminds me of the X-23, what I've got behind me. Again, I've only got that because of veve. Again, with the Avengers, I've only got that because of veve. The other one, the Spider-Man one's actually in my collectibles win. But yeah, this one. So this book is actually called Something is Killing the Children. And it's a fairly new book. This is issue number 21, I believe. And it's a really nice book. I'm not even sure who makes this. Boom Studios, so an independent studio, I would imagine, not a very big one, but at the same time, this book is starting to take off, and this is an awesome book. So let me show you the cover again. I mean, how unique is that cover right there? I mean, how cool is that? And as you can see by this book we've got coming, this is why it reminds me of it, because the art style is kind of like that. I do really like the art style, I must admit. And this is a rather dark book, by the way. This is a really rather dark book. It's about prostitution and abuse and stuff like that. It's a really rough book. It's like mature content galore in this book. But again, it don't actually say mature content, and it does say this is the die cut bloody mask variant. I mean, how cool is that? I mean, that is quality, right? Even just for a display piece, like that is awesome. Like, you can't get a better comic than that. And this is why this comic really tickles my fancy. Same with this one's that say Something is Killing the Children. I mean, how dark of a comic is that? What a wicked comic. And it's kind of, the story's not far off. Like, it's kind of a dark story too. Like I say, prostitution and abuse and stuff like that. And then she actually gets powers and goes on to start killing all the, all the kingpins and stuff like that. That's actually a really cool comic. I'm sure I've got another Dark Horse one here somewhere. I've actually got some really cool comics sat at the side here. 1980s X-Men there. It's a really cool comic. Doctor Strange. I've got a bunch of random ones as well, like that. Crimson. That's probably worth about £1, if that. But yeah. And it reminds me of this as well. Also reminds me of this sort of thing. Now, I give one of these away before, and I'm not even sure how much these are worth because I don't think there's that many of them. And it is actually a poster. And it's got a 1-of-1 drawing in there, I think. I can't remember how many of these it said existed, but there wasn't a lot, right? Oh, it's a limited edition of 100, Tank Girl related. So, yeah, this is an Action Addy product. So, yeah, I really like that. And it kind of reminds me of the same cover. So I'm getting a bit off piece here, so let's catch off with a chat. Superman number 1, Batman number 1, AF-15 4. Oh no, that's AF-15, sorry. Wow, so we got Marvel, yeah, and that's the Marvel one, right? The first Marvel one. I actually really like that cover. No, that's not the book behind me, is it? I've actually got that cover somewhere. Just to prove I'm an uncanny X-Men fan. I mean, all of these need repackaging right now, but yeah, I've got X-Men after X-Men books here. I must admit, look, Bishop. I've collected no end of X-Men books. So yeah, that's probably one of my favorite brands of books. So let's get back to that. Yeah, that's a huge list, but there is plenty more to come. But again, I think we've reached the peak with the comics. I definitely want to read this addiction comic in full. And the writer said as well, please read this comic. Please don't just display it, read it. So I'm going to read it 100,000,000%. I'll probably read the digital version and put the other one straight into a packet. I must admit. Comment, just call him Lewis. Thank you very much. I wish I'd have known that for like 10 years. So I've been calling him Louis and he's Lewis, right? Either way. And I didn't do a deep dig because obviously I didn't. Because of Corey, done a wicked video, so there's no point. I mean, that's another My Collectibles book right there. Another My Collectibles win. I've won quite a few off of him. Then let's get back to the chat. Thank you for that, Daniel. Double quill article for Times. Prices, editions just went up. Everything is pretty scarce except X-Men 1. Ah, let me take a look. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Double quill. I'm sure they. Oh, is that why I've got so many notifications? You're welcome. Well, what? Oh no. 1 second, 1 second. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, here we go, baby. Let's see what. Oh, it's exciting stuff. Let me take a look at this. So this is what I've been waiting for all day. I was hoping they'd release it kind of earlier, but yeah, they didn't. Is that a different drop video? Yeah, it is, right? Further beer today, so yeah. So that's the same drop video. Right, let's take a look, baby. Thank you very much, Double Quill. So X-Men 60 Uncanny Years, well, Uncanny X-Men 60 Years of poster is this is on the 12th of October, 8 a.m. PT. So it is 8 a.m. PT. So 11, all right. So it is 8 a.m. PT. So that's still 4 p.m. UK time for me. List price for the poster is 30 gems. Now, I believe that's cheaper than all the others. Correct me if I'm wrong. Please put that in the chat if I'm wrong. But I believe that's 20 to 10 to 20 gems cheaper than all the others. 600 editions. I believe that kind of matches what the others were, if I'm not mistaken. First Republic sale is 41, so that definitely confirms. Well, saying that this is not comic, but we'll get to that one in a minute. But I'd definitely say they're keeping more back for that other comic to give away at the event. So yeah, again, I do like the poster. The edition is not overly high, and the cost price of 30 gems. I do that. I see that one doing well, and it's an X-Men poster. Let's not forget. I'm not sure why the two love hearts look like they're boobies over here, but there we go. We'll have to take a look at that one. So Mr. Kingpin. So he's definitely not animated. And the list price is 40 gems. See see 3 reasons to grab this digital collectible on YouTube Shorts. I am still sharing this screen, right? Just making sure. Let me have a look. That interests me. There's got to be a reason for it, right? So it is Wilson Fisk. Cell shading. That's what we're calling it. I'm not gonna lie, that was 3 disappointing reasons. I thought there was gonna be something extra to that, I must admit, so I felt like I got a bit rugged there. Where was I? Let me go back to where I was. How do I go back from here? Uh, 1 second. I hope you see that video anyway. Oh no, did you not see that video? Oh, 1 second. Well, anyway, you don't need to see that video because the video was, uh, I wouldn't say rubbish because I'm a bit more polite than that, but it wasn't as useful as I thought it was going to be. So I do apologize if you didn't see any of that and you just watched me sitting there on an empty screen. This is the problem with StreamYard. If you don't change the screen every 2 seconds, which it kind of gets easy to forget every time you change tabs, right? So yeah, let's have a look. So there was really nothing spectacular about Corey's info there, apart from the cell shading bit. Now I did remember that earlier, but I forgot the term, I must admit. But yeah, I do like the collectible, but for 40 gems, I think that's high. And then it's got 2,444 editions. It's an ultra rare. First mint for public sale is going to be 41. This is obviously a first appearance, and it is just confirmed with Skin Fist. A total of 90 editions will be withheld by veve and a licensed store. So with this one, I do like the collectible. I do like the new style. I can appreciate they're doing a new style. They're attempting new things. I do like that idea. But again, will it look so nice standing next to your Daredevil? Daredevil's not in the same sort of way. Elektra's definitely not in the same sort of way with a head all twisted like the Exorcist. But yeah, I like the collectible, but does it fit with the other set? Does it fit with the other collectibles that are in the Daredevil set? Now, if you'd have done it with the X-Men, again, there is Storm. I'm not sure we have any other X-Men right now. Do we have any other X-Men? We do have Storm, right? That is the only X-Men I can think of anyway. Apart from some of the older X-Men that were X-Men, but then joined other forces and just basically merged in whenever they could. So yeah, with this one, it's 2,044 editions, and there is a bunch of drops this weekend. So this one is a not sell out for me. Again, the collectible's really nice, but it's a not sell out. Let's get to the comic. So here's covers for the comic. I think you've already seen them. So that's the common cover. That's the classic common cover. That's the uncommon. Absolutely horrible. I do apologize. Double quill. That one's not a bad cover. Yeah, same cover. I mean, we've got a couple of covers that look kind of like that in the app. It's not the greatest cover, I must admit. So this is the first appearance of X-Men and Magneto. So this is the original X-Men. There's no Wolverine in here, and there's a couple of others that are well missing from this point. This list price for this is going to be 20 gems. I can't say that shocks me, but I can't say, oh. So it's 20 gems and there's 10,000 editions. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Now, again, when we get mass adoption, if we get mass adoption, 10,000 editions is going to be nothing, right? Everyone keeps saying about the crypto toys that it doesn't matter about the editions anymore, as long as they like the item. This is apparently the way now. So maybe we don't need to worry about the edition size. And again, all these people are sitting back holding stuff in their wallets, waiting for stuff to happen, waiting for the next step, waiting for the VV-verse, waiting for stuff to happen. So again, I think the editions are okay, and it means I'm going to get one. But are they going to sell out 10,000 editions at 20 gems? I'm not 100,000,000% sure they do, I must admit. But again, that is an absolutely amazing book. So now I've got to decide whether to put another 40 gems in, because I'm going to get one of these, but do I get two of these? Because there may be an opportunity to do so. And let's see how many they kept. So look, with this one, right? So there's 10,000 editions. And again, a total of 375 editions across all 5 rarities will be held by veve and the licensed source. The other one was 800 editions. The physical comic was 800 editions, and that had 6,000, 7,000 editions. This one's got 10,000, and it's 375. Again, I told you 850 is a high number. So I'm guessing that is the giveaway at the booth at Comic-Con. So here's the Professor X. Again, I do really like this. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself because I did go through some of these. I do really like this collectible. I don't like the animation itself, but I do like the attempt. I do like the cart itself. It's pretty interesting. And I have tried to do this because it's a cartoon at the end of the day. It all started as a cartoon. So I can appreciate that. Now let's have a look at the big bit. So the list price of this is 40 gems. I can't say that shocked me. I thought it was going to be 40 gems. Are people going to pay that? Is a different story. And there's 2,666 editions. This is actually classed as an ultra rare. I'm surprised it's not a secret rare. And the first edition for public sale is 41 again. So with this one, I do really like this. I think to me that's worth 30 gems. I'm not gonna lie. But again, it's a new style. Everyone's got to get paid out of this and stuff like this. So I can kind of understand that from that perspective. And I do like the fact they've used this gold and silver logo there. That don't actually look like, yeah, that does look like the gold and silver one. Not the orange one there. So that's, I'm not sure if they've done that before. But yeah, again, these are kind of mid-tier collectibles at this point. X-Men is obviously the strong one. So Magneto's, please don't disappoint on Magneto and be stupid. So Magneto's got exactly the same editions, 2,666. Again, it's 40 gems. And it's the new art style, so I can appreciate that. But will this look right standing next to your Dr. Octavius or something like that, or Mysterio or something like that? Will it look right? I'm not sure, but it's a unique style. It's another attempt at a new style medium. So again, that's what we ask for every day. So I can appreciate that. Again, 2,888 is too many editions in this market. But will it be when we get mass adoption? We're all hoping for mass adoption. This VV plan was a 5-year plan for me. It was for all the other YouTubers at the point when I joined anyway. And then half the YouTubers seem to forget that after 2 years. Or well, half the people seem to forget that after 2 years. Again, shit does change in 5 years. If things change, then you can't always base a plan on a 5-year plan. And then when stuff starts going bad, do you stay with the plan, right? You have to make them changes. You have to make them adjustments. But again, it was a 5-year plan for me. We're 2 years in. So yeah. So I'm not overly happy with that. Totally 90 editions will be withheld by VV and the licensed source. Oh, and one of the other things I did notice about the VV comic book that did just remind me, I must admit. Yeah, one of the other things I did notice about the VV comic book, again, because it's VV's own, it does actually only have the 2.5% market fee on there. So that's pretty cool. So for selling in the aftermarket, it's 2.5% fee. This one's obviously got the 6% and the 2.5. So are we missing anything here? No, we're not, are we? So taking a look at the list back, you've got Magneto there, got Professor X, which is not bad. You got the X-Men, which is obviously a good one. I think you'd be a bit silly not to go for that one. But again, will it grail? I'm not 100% sure it's gonna. The Giant Size X-Men is an absolutely amazing book as well. I mean, I'm not sure if it's worth $1 million, but in fact, I don't think it's worth $1 million. No, it's nowhere worth $1 million. But I will look that up in a minute because I can't remember what the prices are. I must admit, I make these videos and then I try not to take everything in because when you make them, like to make all these videos day after day, if you took everything in, you turn into a vegetable. So the Kingpin, I do like it, but I do believe that is too much money as well. Again, I'm not going to go for the poster, even though X-Men is one of my favorite things. So that looks like the drops. I'm not going to lie. Like what Gus said earlier, it's a bit mid-tier stuff. So let's have a look. Hopefully some of the amazing drops are going to be, well, there's going to be a Ron English airdrop. I pretty much guarantee there is going to be a Ron English airdrop, whether or not it's going to be a golden grin or whether or not it's going to be a red grin or a different grin with different color teeth, because each grin we've got, there's actually 3 physicals that match him. One with white teeth, one with green teeth, one with white teeth, one with silver, one with gold teeth, right? So with this one, I'm not really sure. It's a bit of a weird one. So, but I do think if they drop anything, if Ron drops anything and Ron listens to the community, let's face it, Ron does like to keep his feet stuck into the VV ground, right? And I do think he's going to notice that everyone was pissed they didn't get that Monopoly board. And I do believe we're going to get that Monopoly board. I do believe that's one of the other reasons that airdrop actually went a bit wild. That has come down, by the way, and it's looking kind of tasty at the minute, I must admit. So yeah, and obviously there was the utility. I mean, the utility weren't that great, I must admit, but I do think that Monopoly board's coming. I really, really do. I'm not going to lie. So let's have a look. Article times. Yeah, thank you very much. Everything except X-Men. X-Men's actually in that article. So hopefully you see that. Comment, just stop by really quick, Bob. I'm not feeling well, but thank you very much for live and perspective. Thank you very much, friend. I hope you and the family get better. I must admit, I know you've not been feeling great. I know you've had some stuff going down. I know DC's give you some problems and all sorts recently. So good luck to you and keep pumping out the rockets, man. You're a credit to the community. You always make people smile every day, even when they're having a bad day, all right? Gossel, go to the veve YouTube. Ashley released it. Thank you very much, mate. Hello, Master Bob Sales. Hello, Master Jimbo Lee. I actually put my strike first on. Boop, 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 boop. Nah, I'm so tired today. I must admit, I got blisters on my toe from where I spin kick. So you can't keep spinning like that on them gym mats because it is absolutely shredding my toe. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have a hole in the bottom of my foot. I would show you, but we're on stream and no one wants to see my feet, right? And if you do, you're weird. I like the bat sign. Yeah, so I've had this for a while. My brother actually brought me this when I lived at home with the parents. And that was a while ago, I must admit. I lived in I lived in a nice bit for about 10 years, and then obviously shit changes, relationship changes, or whatever. Then I moved to this dump, which was literally a stopping place, and I've somehow ended up staying here so far. Right, I've got to get out of this dump. I must admit, it's absolute shit of error. Crackheads on every corner. It's absolutely crazy. Now it's not that bad, but but yeah, if you walk a couple of alleyways down, you literally, I don't know whether does every country have one of them where you walk down an alleyway, big long alleyway, it's just all a bunch of nitties down the alleyway. Because where I live, we have a big alley. Where, in fact, everywhere I've lived, apart from one place, we had nitty alleyways where you walk down the alleyway and you could just see all drug users, right? Smoke his piff as much as you like, but when you're starting to take things like, yeah, when you're starting to go off the head, off the rails, you're an idiot, right? But yeah, I've had that for a long time. My older brother bought me that for a Christmas present. It's actually about 30 quid, if that. It's not overly expensive, I must admit. There is actually a stand that goes with it. But yeah, I've actually put it up properly now so it stops falling. And then I've got I don't know whether you can see that down there. But as you can see, I don't know if you can still hear me now. You're probably not supposed to. But my Bispin light, I've actually put a light in it and sell it up. I haven't put the proper light in it yet, but I am actually going to do that and wire it in but I'm not sure, like I say, about staying here. I mean, I do like this new camera though. What do you think the way you can do that, right? Look how cool that is. Loving life with that. Oh, I won't go too far down because it's an absolute mess. But it means when I'm shocked, I can do things like this. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, so pretty cool, right? I quite like this camera. It don't make my teeth look as pretty though. That's my only concern. And you can see quite a lot of stuff around me. Thank you very much, by the way, Jimbo Lee. Hurry up and send me your UFC belt. Thank you very much. I know we're great friends. I know you really love me, so please just send me the belt. I'll even pay shipping. No, I'm joking. No, I'm joking. Yo, duck and cover. I was actually going to ask you on today, but I know you've had some things going on, and I know you said you were going to try and reset before the next week. So I was actually going to have you on, I must admit. And I didn't plan on being on so long. It was just off the cuff stream. I wanted to go through over the decon drops. I did already start doing the video, like I said, the deep dive on the comic book. But then once I see Corey's, I literally can't add anything to that. So once I feel I can't add anything to it, what's the point of making a video? I'm not one of these guys where I'm just going to release stuff I'm not happy with. Just keep the schedule, right? But yeah, hello, duck and cover. If you want to come on, you're more than welcome to come on. I'll send you a link. Same to anyone in the chat, to be fair. Seems I'm late to the party. Yeah, you're pretty late. I have read quite a lot of decon stuff. And I actually didn't expect anyone to show to this because I planned it for yesterday and then being informant were on. And I don't like going on YouTube when other people are live. I must admit, I hate that. I think it's rude. I think it's inconsiderate. I mean, you can't always help it. Sometimes you plan it. But I think there's an unspoken YouTube rule, right? Well, there is for me anyway. If someone's on YouTube, you wait. Or, I mean, with drop streams, it's a bit different. Sometimes 2 people can be on, sometimes 3 people can be on. Everyone likes to do a drop stream now and again, apparently. And I actually done a couple, and I actually think they're really fun. So I may do a couple next week. But again, what's the point of us all splitting our views? We may as well all join as one community. We may as well just all go on each other's channels and be happy, live happy ever after. No point splitting everyone down. Plus, then it gives people, then people feel they have to make a choice of who to watch, if that makes sense. And I'd rather just, I'm like I said, I'm a fan before anything else. But yeah, if you want a link, you're more than welcome. I'm here lurking. Hello, Kryptonies. Always good to see you, my fam. Good to see you. Did someone say something to you yesterday again? Because I felt like you was defending yourself again yesterday. Hopefully not. And don't let the negative get in your head, mate. And try and always. I know you're quite patient anyway, but trust me, mate. Don't engage. It's not worth it. I've done it myself. I learned that lesson. I've learned that lesson many a times. These days, I'm not even bothered what people say. I mean, I've never bothered beforehand. I'm kind of like you, right? If you're not willing to say it to my face, probably don't say it at all. I mean, that's the way you should live in life. If you're not willing to say it to someone's face, don't say it at all, right? But yeah, it's great to see you. Biggest Bro, VV New York drop articles are out. Thank you, Biggest Bro. I've just been over that. Hopefully you did see that. And it's good to see you. If you did want a link, you're more than welcome, brother. I've been too skint to buy anything last few weeks. Duck and cover. I'm not going to... Oh, shit. Can you not hear me this whole time? Hopefully you can hear me because I'm so far behind on these comments and my mic's over there somewhere. And when the mic's not in front of you, you're not supposed to be able to hear me. I mean, it don't always work like that. So hopefully you can hear me anyway. But yeah, I've been a bit too skint. I think everyone's getting to that boat, duck and cover. I'm not going to lie. And I think like me, for instance, I've got a working man's veve account. That's what I always called it, the working man's account, because I had put like 100, 150, 200 pound in a month if I can, right? But that has slowed down recently. But again, that's what I tried to do. And this month is going to be a bitch. I'm not going to lie. Sorry about my swearing, but it's going to be annoying because the Funko's coming out. It's $150, right? Not the cheapest thing in the world, but for an 18-incher and it's gold, it's got the NFT, that's at least going to be worth $50. There's 3,000 of them to go around 5 editions. So there's 5 rarities for 3,000 NFTs. Them things, even though not FA, well, it might be FA because it's got no mask on. But again, we have Iron Mans, we have the Golden Moment, we have the animated Iron Man, which I argue is the best one. But again, we have Iron Mans, right? But again, it's a Funko. It's VV's first physical, like, Funko toy. It's Funko. I mean, look at this. It's Funko. Like, how can I not get the Funko? Now, the thing that does annoy me, like I keep saying to everyone, really does annoy me, is VV market themselves as a worldwide app. They've mostly sorted out like the way they can transfer money and the laws for all the other countries and stuff like that. Have I got a dent on my head? Maybe I took one too many punches. But yeah, have I? No, it's all right. I'm just getting old. See my veins popping. So yeah. Yeah, so I'm completely skint this month, and I must admit there's a London trip with some of the VV fam in literally a couple of days, and right now I'm got to pay for a physical Funko toy. I've got to still find someone in America to find me a Funko toy. I think I've got someone to do it, but I'm not 100% sure yet, so I'm really hoping he can do that for me. And again, I'm English, so it's $150. It's then going to cost me another $50 to $60 to ship. So I'm actually paying $200 for my Funko. So everyone's complaining about $150. It's worth $200 to me, right? I've got to get one. I can't remember where I was with that statement, but yeah. And then I've got a trip in a couple of days, going to meet some of the VV fam, Metaverse Life, I think, VV Vibes, Vibesman, and like people like that. We're going to have like a VV meetup, and I believe that is the same I believe that's the same day the VV comic comes out, which I'm a bit annoyed about because I honestly wanted to stream that one because I was going to try and buy as many of them as I could afford at the time because I really do like them, I must admit. But yeah, we're all a bit tight on gems. We're all a bit lost. I'm still trying to sell out that bobsales account. I think I've got about $500 in there now. So I am getting there finally, but sooner or later, I'm not going to have any access to that. So I need to get out there as quick as I can. So if you do see any of that on the market and you want to help me out, feel free to buy that stuff because it's on like rock bottom floors right now. And I didn't want to sell any of it. I'm only selling it due to the fact that I need to get out of that account. Hello, Captain. Good afternoon, fam. Good afternoon. I can send you a link if you want. I know it's a bit off the cuff, but yeah, I'm probably not going to stay on much longer unless someone comes on to join me, because I've not really got much to say because I've said most of it so far. Oh, nice, bro. Not sure what that was to, but yeah, if you want a link, let me know. Hey, Bob, how's it going? Alex in crypto. It's good to see you, my friend. We've actually gone back quite a long time, I must admit. We've always been good friends on Twitter and stuff like that. So it's great to see you in here. Top 3 platforms, veve, DC, LMX. So let me think about that. Let me think about that. So I wouldn't include LMX. And I've got to be honest, them NFTs are a bit out of my pay grade, a bit artisty for me. The only one I really like is the King Tut. Now, that death mask is absolutely amazing. I really do love them things, I must admit. Oh, wait, have I got DMs? 1 second. My phone's on silent. I turned it on silent, didn't I? 1 second, 1 second. Oh, you sent me the post. Sorry, biggest bro. I actually thought you wanted a link then. I nearly had a heart attack that I'd missed your DM there, or you just sat there waiting. Poor git. Sorry, mate. But yes, thank you for that, I must admit. So hopefully you see that. Let me know if you did catch that bit. If not, we'll go over it a little bit more. But yeah, top 3 platforms, VVDC, LMX. I'm not going to lie to you, Kryptoni. It's a hard one. It's a hard one right now. It's hard. So based on, see, when you're doing these platform comparisons, you got to base on quality of items, you got to place on the variation of items, you got to place it on different IPs, you got to place it on the ecosystems. Can you get out of them? Can you get out? Can you get in them? Can you get out of them? Can you sell on OpenSea? Can you pay for crypto? Can you, crypto to gem, crypto to dollar, whatever, yeah? So you know what I mean? It's a really hard one to decide, I must admit. So LMX, I probably wouldn't say for me. I must admit, I wouldn't say that would be one of them. But I know a lot of people do like the project, including my collectibles. He absolutely loves it. But the NFTs are a bit out of my price range, and I'm not so keen on Mona Lisa and stuff like that, right? I'm not that sort of arty guy. I kind of like the decon arty stuff. I kind of like the Banksy stuff recently. I'm getting a bit older, so that might be why. But yeah, for me, so VV's definitely first. It's 2.5 years of sale records. 2 years they sold out flat, right? Every drop, 60,000 drop. Even like literally the ball cube sold out. It took a while, but they sold out. So VV's the proven and tested right now. And I don't think any other company would have lasted through the bear market for nearly a year. And I would say we're about a year and a half in now. We're getting there, right? So I don't think any other company without the community VV built would have made that. I must admit, no other company would have lasted that long. DC. Now DC is a hard one for me. So there's a couple of things with DC. So I've got a couple of opinions of this. The DC comics. What I don't understand is HRO, right? So HRO is a really good site. And I also know you like HRO Kryptoni, I believe. And it's a really good site. Now, can you make 1 million on there? You cannot make 1 million on there. And it does a specific thing. It's for cards. I mean, the idea of physicals with the cards, with collectible cards and then putting the scannable codes on the back. I mean, that is an absolute great idea. That is absolutely brilliant. I love that idea. That was one of the first people to make that idea. They didn't get enough credit for that idea. They were obviously straight away on OpenSea, Mutable X and stuff like that. Like they were absolutely great. So you can sell it elsewhere. Not that that paid off, I must admit. Did it make a difference though, selling it on the other sites? I mean, I've actually got cards that actually got stuck during the transfer. So that's a pain in the arse and all. But did it make a difference? No. And a lot of them cards are $1 cards. But if we're talking about utilities, the actual platform itself, I think they were rather set up. Always had the tables, always had the point systems. The burning's been on point. The crafting's been on point. The only shame about HRO is it's just a card site. It's just a card site. That is the only problem. I think if you'd have added the DC comics on the HRO site, now we're talking. Now we're talking. Why are we pairing with Candy right now? if anyone, HRO still HRO still kept going through all the utilities and all the random stuff like that. And one of the best things which we're finding out about Cryptoys as well is the box openings. I've always loved the box openings. Like, that is one of the best things about HRO. I've known I'm going to lose money on them packs, and I've still bought packs because I love the box openings. Like, the box openings are absolutely crazy. And then the last one with the Disney Cryptoys, I mean, that was just, I'm not sure you can beat that. And then the Batman packs unwrapping and that, I actually love that, I must admit. So I think DC and HRO would make an absolute team, and it's all DC stuff. So I'm not sure why they don't work together. I'm really not sure why they don't. And also with the DC Comics site, so DC Palm, I think even though I'd prefer the collectibles to go on veve, I'd prefer all that. Maybe they should start going into other things. So to see him planning physicals, yeah, I do agree. That might help it a little bit, I must admit. So a lot of people at the time was changing their back cow, was changing their pictures to back cows. You don't see it as much anymore, or the conviction as much anymore. Even the Gale, like the Gale's disappeared, right? So you really don't see much of the Gale anymore and stuff like that. And they all moved on to DC. So I would say, but again, HRO is so small, and you can't even bring Cryptoys into this conversation because they haven't been going long enough. They just haven't been. It's got a great vision. I've got Cryptoys. The CEOs and the team are absolutely brilliant, but right now they're not in the same space as these other collections. So I would say veve, DC, and then maybe HRO. And the worst thing is McFarlane have so much potential. Like, McFarlane toys are huge. Like, I have McFarlane toys all over the bedroom. I mean, they're all in there at the minute because that's where all the DC ones are. But yeah, I mean, this one here, the penguin, what you can see there, the one I got from Wazzaverse for my birthday, that's actually a McFarlane toy right there. So McFarlane Toys are a big company. And if anyone can put physicals out, it would be McFarlane. I was actually shocked because I see Biscuits 3D print one of them. Now, I got told it weren't actually like a thing she just decided to 3D print. She actually got that off of McFarlane because they're sending it with every digital. Is that actually a thing? I mean, that's crazy for an actual physical toy company to be sending you the 3D print rather than you selling you the physical. I think that's amazing. I think that is a great step. But did they style it off well with the flooding spaces and stuff like that? Did it style it off well? That's what started it off well. And again, like the same problem we've got with DC, the site itself. The site's absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. So yeah, and HRO's site from day one has been clean, clear, crisp. You've always been able to take your money out. I mean, they had a slight problem at one point, but so's veve, right? But again, yeah, so I'm gonna say, for me, veve, HRO, and DC. That's what I'm gonna say. And obviously, it's all personal preference. Like, but for me, I'm actually gonna say veve, HRO, and DC. That in that order, right? Again, Cryptoys is coming up, but when you look at their YouTube channel, they've got 1,000 and I think 1,200 YouTube watches in a minute. So it is a very small space. There's no market. As soon as they get in the market, that's going to change the game for them. I don't care what anyone says. Even when you collect stuff, you still want your stuff to go up in value. I've explained that before. But when you collect stuff in real life, you still clean the boxes. You still dust everything. You still like don't take it out of the boxes. Because even if I don't plan to sell it, one day I do want it to go up in value, right? And I should always be able to buy and sell my items. That's another thing. So, yeah, so Cryptoys are not in the question yet. But have they got a bright future? Yes, they have. But can they catch up? I'm not 100% sure they can. I'm not, and that's just me being realistic. I mean, I hope all these platforms work out because I know there's people invested in every single one. And I'm invested in every single one. I think the only one I don't have any of is the LMX at the minute. That's the only one I don't. And that King Tut NFT, by the way, if I would have been paid a week later, I definitely would have had that NFT 100 million %. That is one of my favorite NFTs ever. I love Egypt. I love the Death Mask. I love the whole meaning about them. I didn't like the platform little game space they give you with the pyramids and stuff. That looks absolute trash. But for a free item, you can't complain, right? But that looks like PS1, PS2 Tomb Raider graphics. That was a really bad graphics, I must admit. But the items themselves, they look absolutely amazing. Imagine putting that into a veve verse. Sorry if I went on a bit of a rant there, a bit of a sidetrack, but yeah. And by the way, what projects am I on? I should say. So I'm in HRO, I'm in DC, I'm in Cryptoys, I'm in veve. I've even got a couple of Lord of the Rings NFTs around there somewhere. I've got a few NFTs on OpenSea, but every single one of them I brought just didn't do nothing. So I didn't really, and it really weren't my sort of thing. That was my nephew sort of pointing me where and when with that one. And obviously that didn't really pay off for him either. I mean, he's made some profit in it and he made more profit than me. But yeah, them sort of NFTs were never my cup of tea, the JPEG pictures, I must admit. They literally do just look like JPEG pictures. And the artwork on them is pretty bad. So sorry if I'm going off on a bit. Sent you a DM. Yeah, thank you for that. You're more than welcome to come on again. Man, that Secret Rare X-Men is fire. Duck and cover. I hate to say it, man, but not for me. I don't like I don't like black and white covers, but that's a personal preference. A lot of you do, right? Again, though, one thing I would say, when I draw a picture, I don't color it in. I've never colored it in. So from that perspective, from a drawing perspective, when I draw a picture, I don't like to colour it in. I think the colour wrecks it. I've just thought about that. I've never thought about that before. And yet I don't collect any of the black and whites. I try to avoid them, right? I've never thought about that before. And yet all my pictures I drew are black and white. You won't find any colour in them. Yeah, edition G43. Sorry, I'm not reading the names out. G43. Yeah, edition numbers in line. Thoughts Kingpin will do the poorest. I'm not sure whether it's going to be. So out of the collectibles, I think Magneto's going to do the worst. I don't know why, but out of the collectibles, I actually think Kingpin's better than Magneto. But then Magneto's got the little bit of animation going for it, and then you can partner up with Professor X. So there is that aspect to it. But I think Magneto's a big FA as well, big character. But for me, I think I'd prefer the Kingpin over Magneto. I'm not going to lie. I mean, what's your lot's thoughts? Do you prefer Kingpin or Magneto? Let's have a. Oh, I don't know how to have a vote. How do we have a vote? I should really work all that shit out at one point. Sorry, language. Kind of high additions for today's numbers, but very scarce. If Evie goes nuts, thank you, Duck and Cover. Yeah, I kind of agree. Absolutely crazy numbers. And like what Gus said earlier, it's a bit mid tier. $40 is pretty good price for these characters too. Yeah, it is, but I like animations. I'm sorry, but I like animations and I like proper animations, not a little animation. I like the really good animations. I mean, some of the animations we got are a minute long recently. On the Sesame Street characters, I mean, they've got a minute long animation, multiple speaking sentences, multiple different animations, and it's for the Sesame Street. Why can't we have that sort of animation with all these heroes? I mean, the battle scenes you can make in AR would be absolutely crazy, right? If you're actually advertising to pay with these collectibles, why should I keep adding effects in when I'm making shorts, making them fire bolts at each other and stuff like that? Why should I add them in? Like Vivi should put them in. It's like the Back to the Future train. That was an absolute quality, and that was one of the best that was one of the best items in the app. Not the biggest IP. I mean, it was in the film for 5 seconds, but we all know what it was. I wouldn't have picked it, but the way that come out, the quality of that was absolutely amazing. Editions wasn't too bad on that, neither. The price wasn't too bad on that. But again, you put it in AR and there's no sound. Why would you make a train with no sound? And that is probably one of the easiest to control and drive around and fly around. And the lift off animation, everything on that is absolutely great. Apart from the no sound, I never get the no sound. So yeah, I like full animations, but then I do have a still Chucky, and there is certain items I'm willing to have still. It's like the golden moments, for instance. They're statues; they should be still. DC's direct stuff, like the battle statue, right? That should be still. All them Batmans and Jokers, they should all be still. But when you start releasing 1 minute animations on Sesame Street, I start to like them animations. And I'm hoping when we get to the VV version, you can turn the sounds off. because with that computer, all it hears, when trying to build in a VV I have to mute the whole thing. When trying to build in a VV Vault, I have to mute it because all you can hear is Yeah, it's funny when you first see it. It's funny when you first see it in a film. It's not funny when you've heard it for like 5 minutes trying to build something in the vault. It's not. So that otherwise you're going to get to your VV Vault and it's going to sound like an arcade. Everything's ping, 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 ping. It's going to be absolute crazy, right? Detail is awesome on the collectibles. So I like the collectibles. I don't like the Magneto one. The face on the Magneto is not for me. But again, I don't want to fud it. I don't want to say it's horrible because it is a new medium, new styling. So I can appreciate Vivi try. Not everything Vivi are going to try are going to work out for everyone, right? But will it match? Like it's like with Kingpin. Is that going to match with your Daredevil or Electra? Now, Daredevil's also not great looking collectible. This, I'd argue, Kingpin's definitely better. But when you put them two next to each other, are they going to? Are they going to be? Are they going to feel like they're from the same world? They're not, right? X-Men ones sell out 100%. I mean, it's 20 gems, 10,000. I mean, I hope it sells out straight away. It should sell out straight away. But the market's getting that doubtful at the minute. It's getting that doubtful where you just don't know, right? You just don't know. There's been some big comic books recently. I mean, what was the last one I can think of? I mean, there's a couple of 700 grand comic books in VV. I know there is. 100. I'm pretty sure there is. I'm trying to think. I made a video about that. I'll double check all that because I don't like saying things I haven't double checked, I must admit. But there's some big price items in VV right now. So, yeah, it should sell out. But for 20 gems and you've got drops all week, you've got to pick and choose. Not everyone's going to have a spare $300 this week. And there's physicals coming along. If you're going to New York, that's also more money you're paying out, right? You're paying for your food, you're paying for your hotel, you're paying for all that sort of malarkey. You're also going to want stuff when you're there. You're going to buy VV comics when you're there. You're going to try and buy what you can when you're there. Celebrate, live life, right? So this week may be a bit of a broke week for the app. I know it's like me. I've got about 60 gems, and I believe at this point, I'm thinking of using all them 60 gems for VV comics if I can get my hands on more than one. I mean, I think that's the play for me. Mr. Informant, and sorry, I didn't say your name. JKRB. What does that stand for, by the way, just out of interest? Mr. Informant, if you don't watch his channel, you should. He's always he's a good laugh, good friend, same as Mo knows. Do VV stuff, PFL, DC, and we talk a lot of nonsense now and again. Absolutely great laugh, and he's got a wicked wife as well. She normally moderates the chats. She's my actual only moderator. I don't know if she's in here now, but she's my actual only moderator, and she's a great moderator. They actually make a lovely couple, I must admit. Just come off the honeymoon as well, so well done for that. And I've actually really missed you guys this week as well. I'm sorry about the confusion. We both had confusion. I think it was Monday or Tuesday because you stopped streaming, and I literally went online. I was just like, bro, the drop's not even been yet, and they've left us. Like, what's the point of doing a drop stream if they're not even here? Not in a bad way, but I was just like, come on, man. I was just like, well, I may as well do it now. And then 2 minutes out, I come on stream. No one's watched it. And I'm just like, where is everyone? Next minute, BE's on. I'm like, hang about, what's going on here? So, yeah, we need to start teaming up again for next week because I don't see the point of all running drop streams, right? That's just stupid. So whether you come on here or not, it's up to you. Hey, buddy, driving to a family event and saw you on. Hope you all is well. I'd be better if I had someone to talk to, I must admit. I hate talking to myself. So, yeah, and I'm doing all right. I've been trying to keep my head down. I've been trying to go back to the gym. I've been trying to smoke a lot less, I must admit, because I'm going to go back to my proper gym soon. And I'm trying to get prepared for it because if you're going to go and do some MMA or some jiu-jitsu or wrestling and you smoke like I smoke, and because I've been down recently a little bit because of my whole relation, we won't go into that too much, but because I've been a little bit down, I mean, what you see is not always what you get, right? You normally know if I'm not going to be, if I'm a bit down, I won't shoot anything. But either way, yeah, it's been a bit of a random couple of weeks. Let's just say that. It's been a random couple of weeks. So I always appreciate all your company, all the people in the chat, and I love them streams. I must admit, it's just shooting the shit, chatting from the hat, shooting from the hip, just off the cuff streams. I love all that sort of stuff, I must admit. And it's great to have so many friends in different places. Informants shouting all you guys out. All the big names, biggest bro, Captain Obvious. Drive safe, B. Enjoy your day, yeah. Enjoy your day, mate. As always, Bob loves you. You know Bob loves you. And you're well. I would have sent you an invite, but I knew you were probably going to be busy because Sunday is normally a family day. And I actually didn't expect anyone in this chat today. I must admit, I was actually going to make the video, cut it up later. And then I thought, should I go live? I was like, well, it did say I was going to go live yesterday. And then I did say I was going to go live today. So I probably should go live, right? Because everyone's going to be like, oh, I'm not going, I'm not listening to this guy anymore. So yeah, drive safe. Informant Kryptoni G43. Shout out to them too. Great guys. Did I miss anyone? Sorry. No, I don't think you did. Ronnie Lighto, you missed. Feel better, Daniel. 100%. We all love Daniel. G43. It's got to be the Mogul board airdrop. No. Yes, 100%. That was going to be my guess on the My Collectibles board, but I thought that was a bit easy. And then he tried to say that he guessed the Mogul Grim, but he was going for a gold version. I actually just thought it was going to be either the board detachable, so you can use it with any character. I think that would be the best way to do it, but it could just be a character with a board, right? There is plenty more of them characters. There's a red one, like I said. I mean, even in the Ron English picture, where you can see him with a physical and then the physical McDonald's Monopoly board, even on the physical Monopoly board, if you look behind Frank on the left, Frank, why am I saying Frank? Frank again. I always got Frank on my mind. Ron English, sorry. So if you look to Frank's right, even or his left, there's a red mogul there and another game piece for the Monopoly board. So I reckon that's going to come. I think that'd be a huge miss if they do not give us the board. It was in a promo. I don't think you should promo stuff like that if it's not going to be in the actual drop. I do think that was kind of false advertising. And I do believe that kind of led to disappointment on that drop a little bit for some people. I was a bit disappointed when I see it had no board. But again, I did buy, and luckily I did because I got the secret rare, which I did actually sell because, oh my God, that price went crazy. And I've got to be honest, guys, it's not worth that money. And it started to pump a bit too crazy. You can always buy in later on. So sometimes, no matter what it is, you just got to let it go for the right price sometimes. Sometimes you got to take the wins. What did I actually buy with that after? I mean, I have none of that money left. So I actually brought, I can't remember what I brought. Well, I brought 3 of something I like. I brought T-Rex. I know that. Always, brother. Good to see you. Oh, where's Mum? And tell Shelby, Cobras always strike first. Yes, I actually have a Cobra Kai t-shirt. Sad, but yeah. Yo, 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 Ronnie Lighto, Mr. Painter, Mr. Artiste himself. Good to see you, man. Are you going to the event by any chance? Duck and cover, informant, duck and cover. I'm very skittish to buy anything on veve. Yeah, everyone's a bit skittish, especially on comics, I must admit. Ronnie Lighter, welcome to America. I'm not in America, so I'm not sure where that come from, but I love you. Lol. There's everyone here. Well, I'm glad to see so many people. Hey, Ronnie, so you didn't miss Ronnie. Yo, yo, yo. Got our own Home Depot and Walmart soon, but but I'm here for a little bit. Yeah, I'm not going to be on much longer, I must admit. I've been on nearly 2 hours now, talking to myself somehow. 11 up. Is that to me or what's the 11 up? But thank you very much for coming as always, Ronnie. Such a good member, like always. I did actually watch your painting stream with BE the other day, but I couldn't comment a lot because my internet was being a pain. Informant, we have another late paint session. Yeah, he's just talking about the paint session. Yeah, sure. I most likely will have a session tonight after I get all my daily. So go out. You can always go there and watch that. Are you doing that in the same place or are you streaming it? Harvest Day 2. Sweet, sweet. Everyone's just having a conversation. Maybe I'll do a late night stream, but we need to get your hours, Ronnie, and of course Bob too. Well, I think it's what day are we on tonight? So Sunday tonight. So I am actually working. But I'm not going in the office. I'm working from home and I'm only going to be working for probably 30 minutes because I'm getting replaced by a computer right now. So I believe I believe I'll be literally busy for about 30 minutes if most, and then I'll be able to stream any time in the night. I don't think my nephew's here, so I'm also not going to disturb him tonight. So yeah, anytime, let me know. Just give me a bit of advance beforehand because I do sometimes drift away recently. I am getting old and I've been wearing myself out. But yeah, if you do want to do a late night stream, let me know. I'll jump on with you or you jump on with me. Either way, I'll probably jump on with you today. Agreed. Hit that like button, fam. Thank you very much, informing. I always forget to tell people that if you could hit the like, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. I even left a banner at the bottom there so I could remind myself, and it was informant that actually reminded me. So thank you for that. So if you can hit the like button, algos actually hate me on YouTube. So any help on my YouTube videos, I really would appreciate. And some of them do take forever. Cryptoids, VV, and bobsales NFT project top three. I haven't got a bobsales NFT project yet, I must admit, but I am gonna do one, and I'm actually gonna. My first NFT is gonna be a yellow three-wheeled van from Only Fools and Horses. My bobsales van. That is gonna be my first NFT. But again, I really don't know whether I've got time for all the utility and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not even at 500 subjects, so I can't even start memberships or anything like that. But we are getting closer. We are still getting subscribers every single day. I don't know how that even happens. But yeah, 2 or 3 a video. So we're still going up in the world. And thank you very much, by the way, informant. Cryptoids VV. I Shanker. Shankster. I've never seen that name before, I don't think. So if you're new, welcome, buddy. But I don't think I've seen that name before. What date was Cryptoids first drop? Can't find it anywhere. So I believe Cryptoids the first drop was about a year ago, if I'm not mistaken. Sure. If there's any ambassadors in here, they might be able to tell you. Oh, there we go. 2021 Zoo. Yeah, that was definitely the first drop, and I was right. Oh no, it's 2023 now. So yeah, 2 years ago then apparently. But they didn't really do. I mean, it was the Star Wars that actually took them off a little bit, but then even then they've not took off yet. But again, 6 months of EV, nothing sold out, right? Todd's in the store, so it can happen. Whether or not it can in this market, though, that's the problem. I think their best hope, Cryptoys, is to go into physicals, to NFTs, and sell them to kids. Their app is not like Vivi. They're not trying to say it's an 18-year-old app. They're saying it's 13 upwards. So, in my opinion, for Cryptoys, the physicals is a really good idea. Put them in stuffed teddy bears, especially for the zoo creatures. I mean, I do think that's a really good idea. And I'm not too keen on the first game they showed. I've got to be honest, it's kind of like Flappy Birds, and I don't believe that's going to keep a lot of people's attention. Although Flappy Birds was one of the most downloaded, biggest games in the world for adults and children, I still don't see that taking off for me. I've got a PS4, PS5, and I'm barely paying them, right? So I'm not sure that's going to help. I think their best way is the physicals. I think them zoo toys would look absolutely amazing in physicals. I know they started making them, but I think in cuddly form, they would actually look really good. I did actually order some pudgy penguins, by the way. I brought one Kenobi's daughter one. I've actually bought her one for a birthday, and then I brought a couple of other things. I brought 3 for myself, and then I actually brought a packet of Pokemon cards. Now, since I received my Pokemon cards from Kobe Collects, I've got to be honest, guys. Pokemon's a sore point for me. I give my Pokemon cards, like you heard all the stories. I kept all my Pokemon toys, all my toys throughout my childhood. I give my Pokemon cards away to someone, and to some kids. And when I mean them cards, I see them cards every single day, a couple of grand each card. Or like when I mean I had every single first series card that what I had I would have been this year, I would have been a millionaire, you know what I mean? And I literally give them away. So I've tried to avoid Pokemon for so long. I've tried to have all my Pokemon in boxes. I've tried to not have it on shelves and stuff like that because it really is a bit of a sore point for me, I must admit. Recently, I've unboxed some of my Pokemon stuff, started to put it on the shelves again, and I've then actually brought a pack, and I'm actually going to open the pack as well. It's not going to be for display. I'm actually going to open them because I thought it'd be cool, right? And I'm not sure if any of them new series Pokemon cards are worth anything or not, whether you can get any good pulls in them or not. But I just want to open some Pokemon cards, I must admit. Professor X on bumper car FA, bumper car FA. It does look like a bumper car. I'm not gonna lie to you. Same here. I mean, I do like it though. Just getting here. Just getting here. Let's talk about this week in streaming. I'm actually going out of town again. Talk later, friend. Until next time. Let's talk about this week in streaming. Let's talk about this week and streaming. Yeah, we should do that. That's to me, right? Yeah, we should do that because I think we should just team up. I know Mo's not the biggest fan of Vivi's stuff, so there's definitely not a point of having multiple streams going. Whether you come here, or whether I come to you, it doesn't really matter. I mean, if we share, it's up to you. And I know you got the PFL stuff, and I know you like to do random streams with your whiskey now and again, and all caught a few of them. And they're the best streams, by the way. The unplanned streams where you sit there, just talk rubbish to each other. And you never should take them streams too seriously because a lot of the times I've had 2 hours sleep. So half the time when I'm doing my videos and stuff, like, never take any of that stuff seriously. The Bob Sales deep dig dives, they're always accurate. I must admit. I think I've made one mistake in one of them before, and that was the only mistake I've ever made in one of them because I try to make sure they're accurate. They're the ones that, you got to be accurate, right? But yeah, I do love the off the cuff chats and that. And you can't really put anyone off by just sharing your personality a bit more. Bob Sale ones are so scripted, so you don't really see my personality much apart from gifts, the endings, and stuff like that. Can't wait for next season. No, I'm not. Is that next season? What's that next season? Is that a reference to Cobra Kai by any chance? Because I'm looking forward to that season. All right, the fight scenes are not great, but the fight scenes improve from series 1 to series 2 to series 3. I mean, the little guy, right? The one that turns bad. He's actually really good fighter. He's actually one of the legit ones out of a lot of them. Some of them are really bad. And I think that's actually why they got rid of some of the first series cast, because they knew they were really bad. No, I'm not. Show us your NFT collections, Bob Sales. I haven't actually got any of that stuff pulled up, I must admit. I can't. I can, I suppose. Where's my phone? So Bob Sales has barely got anything in it right now, I must admit. There's not a lot in Bob Sales right now. Bob Sales' wife. Sorry. So Bob Sales' wife, I'm finally getting there. I've only got. Can you see that? I've literally got 4 collectibles in there and 44 comics. So I've actually been knocking that one down out of the park. It says there's about $500 worth of value in there. There's not actually 500 worth of dollars in there in value, I wouldn't say. And I'm trying to sell everything in that account because I no longer have access to it. So I've really got to get out of that account. My other VV account is not loaded, but I'm sitting at about 1.3 in collectibles and I believe 1.3 in comics. The worst thing is my comics used to be 7.5 at one point. That was a while ago, and I've been putting money in constantly each month. My buying hasn't really stopped. It's slowed down a little bit, but I'm still putting about 100 gems in a month, right? I normally tend to put the money in. And at this point, I built so much of my VV vault. I actually don't want to sell anything to break the stuff I built in the VV vault. So I'm not really sure, right? But yeah, yeah, and I'm not logged into any of them on the computer. I don't think that's Twitter, right? But yeah, so that and the Bob Sales normal account. Other thing was with that account, there was always like I never collected collectibles. I actually have like 1.3k in collectibles now. That's never happened before. Like every time I was broke for gems, I used to sell the collectibles. So it does kind of prove a point that either the prices have gone too low for me to sell at, or that because I built certain stuff like the table in the VV verse, what I built out of the ball cubes, and then the little Jurassic Park. I mean, it was a simple build, simple build. Anyone could do it. But I was so proud of myself for actually getting something to work in the vault. I was not selling any of that stuff because I don't want to damage it, right? I do believe once you get to a VVverse space, that will happen. So yeah, I will show you. Oh, I won't right now. I can't show you HRO because HRO won't let me log on PC, and I do not know the password. I must admit, like you sign out of that account, like never. I signed out of that account once. It signed me out of the account, and then yeah, where is this account? And it's hard because it don't exactly tell you all your cards. So for HRO, there you can see I'm not high on this one, but I stuck to buying certain things as well. So most of mine are digitals, I must admit, and and it has different sections as well, different years on this. So that's the other thing. It makes it pretty annoying to start. But yeah, I have still got stuff in HRO, but I only collected certain sets, and I normally tend to sell the set when the collection, the crafting starts, because that actually starts to up the price. If you get in at the right point and get out at the right point, you can actually still make some money there. But I am still in there. Crypt toys have actually done really well, rarity wise, I'd say. Let me pull that one up on the computer. Am I still sharing the screen? Yes, I am. Let me just put it up 1 second. I won't share with you yet because Crypt toys I've done all right. I think I've done all right. Rarity wise. Let me just sign in. Sign in. Hopefully you can't see. Oh shit. Did you just see that? Whoops. No, you didn't see that. Jesus Christ, my heart went then. I thought I left. I literally just thought I'd just type my password in and everything. 1 second, let me just sort this out. I actually think I've done all right. Rarity wise with these, I haven't overspent in there. I wasn't gonna take part whatsoever in Crypt toys, I must admit, until they had a market. I like to have a market. That is my gamification. That's always been my gamification in veve. I've always liked the market, right? But I do now have 10 cubes. $40 a cube is been expensive, but then I did buy a couple on the cubathons on the what do you call it? Oh, I can't remember what you call it now. So yeah, hopefully you can see that. Let me just check StreamYard. No, you can't see that. So let's just pull that out properly, shall we? Lucky I checked, wasn't it? So here's my Crypt toys. I haven't got a hell of a lot in there. Let me just find. So I've got 2 open ones. Normally when you go on streams and stuff, you play the game. So yeah, I've got 2 open ones. And then I've got 8 wrapped. And as you can see, I've not done too bad. So I was really disappointed in the Pluto. I don't like this Pluto. I kind of like the glow in the dark ones, but until I see him running around actually being glow in the dark, I'm not sold on them, I must admit. Now, I understand the Superstar Money color ones, but I wasn't sold on them either. I was sold on the crystal ones, and they were the only ones I was really happy about with that set, I must admit. And a lot of people do moan at veve a lot about doing different poses and stuff. There is quite a lot of rarities on Crypt toys, and a lot of them are the same poses, same looks. So you definitely got to be careful with that. And then when you're complaining about mints on veve and Crypt toys are still selling 30k worth of Crypt toys, which have never sold out yet, which I don't expect them to for another year yet. But again, you just got to take that into account. You can't moan at veve for releasing free collectibles the same but different poses. If you got Crypt toys that have got like 20 different rarities, I don't know what the rarities are, don't count me. So yeah, I think I've done all right personally. I quite like the ones I've got. I would have preferred the crystal for the Mickey Mouse. And that unboxing experience is absolutely crazy. In fact, all of these unboxing experience is absolutely crazy. I am going to do a deeper dig into Crypt toys. I just haven't had the time at the minute because that was going to be my next video after I've done Veveverse Part 2. Because I do actually want to look into this project, want to look at the main goals, want to look through the white pages, want to look at the old NFTs, want to look at how it started. I did actually message some of the team for answers on some of that stuff, and I think maybe they just didn't want to give me the answers. I think maybe they thought I was fishing for like bad stuff, when I think the question I asked was, can you give me some background on some of your members, like the way Steph started with NBA Top Shop or whatever? can you give me some background on all your members so I could do a deep dive into not only the Cryptoys, but the Cryptoys team, where they started from, their expertise. You know, I can't just do a story on nothing, right? And I never got a reply to that message, I must admit. And I was really getting on with them. So I'm not sure why I didn't get a reply to that message. Must just be busy. But again, I didn't get a reply to a message. I can't make the video without half of that information I asked for, because a lot of them people, it's hard to find stuff on every single person without someone giving you a bit of a breadcrumb to follow, right? But yeah, Cryptoys. So I've actually got, I think the Frost is probably one of my favorite ones, I must admit. So Masters of the Universe, I must admit, when I see they have Masters of the Universe, I was pretty sold on that. I have only brought one so far, which surprises me because I'm not a Star Wars fan, right? I'm really not a Star Wars fan. But I did like them. But again, I literally took part because a lot of my friends are ambassadors. At the time, a lot of them, I've been getting on. I've been doing, the team's been nothing but nice to me. So at the same time, everyone, and there's such a good laugh as well. So even though I didn't 100% believe in the project, I do need a market. I did want to take part just because I'm friends with ambassadors and stuff like that. I just wanted to be part of some of the unboxing. Boxing's crazy. Like I said, with HRO, I still take part, mainly down to the unboxing. So it kind of makes sense, right? So right now I have quite good mint numbers, I must admit. So my Evil Lynn is Evelyn. So yeah, she's 405 and a rare. And again, I've not looked at the rarities too much, so I can't tell you, because like the legendary, right? I would have thought that's the best of the best, right? But then you've got grails and then ultra grails. So then I'm not actually sure about the rarity. So I've got to do this dig for myself at one point. Again, I have got the legendary 481 Darth Vader, which is pretty cool. Again, I've got a rare 210. I think that was Anakin, wasn't it? Oh no, that's classed as a Darth Vader. And again, I've got a Grail down there, 735. And I think, I mean, looking at that, I've got two commons. I mean, these are probably commons. So I've got 4 commons and 8 better rarities. No, 6 better rarities. So I've got 4. So yeah, it's about average itself out. But then with a low mint Grail there, low mint legendary there, low mint rares. I mean, that's the thing. Are they going to be worth anything when it comes to selling them? If it comes that way, will they be worth anything? Now, the gamification and stuff will help it, but it depends on the person. It depends on the person, right? Again, I have got low mint numbers, so hopefully that does help. I'm overly happy with my pulls, I must admit. So what else have we got on here? So enough about Cryptoys. Again, I like the project. I wouldn't tell you to jump in 100% right now because there's no market and stuff. So I can also see that point of view. Again, I only joined in to join the ambassadors, help out, join some of the streams, and they've all been nice to me. So that's what persuaded me to buy them, I must admit. I've always liked the VV team. I like the Cryptoys team. Smash that like button. Fun under the sun. Thank you very much. And yeah, Gus, I've even got a couple of them weird ones like Lord of the Rings NFT, a couple of I've got the Superman one and a couple of weird ones. I have got obviously HRO Palm, DC Palm ones as well. Yeah, I've got quite a few. I've got HRO. So yeah, I'm in quite a few stuff. And then I've got no end of drop heads and Star Boys and whatever else. Thank you, Fun Under the Sun, G43. Everyone in this chat gets Secret Rare X-Men on the drop. Hopefully, I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm not going to lie to you, though. I am selling that straight out of my hand and then buying an Ultra Rare. The Secret Rare for me is not for me, the cover. But again, if you get that on drop, oh my God. What do you think let's talk about this. So what do you think the price is going to be? And I'm talking straight after the drop. Not an hour after drop. I'm talking straight after drop. What do you think the price is going to be for the Secret Rare for the X-Men comic? I hope so. I hope so too, brother. Opening Pokemon packs is a big deal on YouTube. Yeah, I'm not really into opening packs. It's definitely not going to be a thing I'm going to do regular. But after I got my cards the other day from Kobe, I mean, these cards are not huge, right? But I mean, they were my first graded cards at the time. And I was over the moon with them. And as I say, I've had that deep I had such a deep connection with Pokemon. I knew I shouldn't have given my cards away at the time, and for some reason I did, and it's the worst mistake of my life. Absolutely worst mistake of my life. So yeah, I've tried to avoid the whole Pokemon scene, but yeah, I am gonna open that pack. I did decide I'm gonna open that pack. They were cheap enough, and I only actually ordered them because I was ordering. I was actually getting Anad's daughter a birthday present at the time. Sorry. Yeah, that was the only reason I was going to buy them because I was getting Anad's daughter a birthday present. I was going to get her a female Spider Man, but that didn't actually come, so I haven't actually got that yet. Although Funko did start releasing them, and they have got a 10% deal on at the minute. So yeah, I am going to open them on YouTube. I've got a bunch of McDonald's ones I can open, and I've got a couple that need to go to be and his wife, which is still not left the house yet. And that reminds me, I still got to take Gus's. Yeah, don't worry, they are coming. I just hadn't had time to do it. I've been trying to keep up with the gym, had some personal stuff going on, and then a bunch, loads of physicals and stuff been released. So yeah, right now is the worst time for that. But I 100% get doing that. And actually, Gus, I'll actually put a couple of extra things with yours, but I won't tell you what they are. Cobra, yeah, Cobra Kai. What? Strike first. So yeah, Ronnie Live fight scenes are pretty good considering the actors are doing. Yeah, the fight scenes are pretty good. Yeah, but the problem is with me, I'm an MMA guy. I'm a UFC guy. I've done jiu-jitsu. I've done MMA. I mean, I've been a bit slacking recently, I must admit, and I'm definitely not the highest of highest of highest. I'm probably like bottom, right? And yeah, I can still handle myself a bit, but I'm bottom. I'm not like top of anything right now. So yeah, the fight scenes are not perfect, but can I appreciate them? Yes, I can. And I think Johnny, the actor that plays Johnny Lawrence, I think he held up more well than the Karate Kid did. I don't think the Karate Kid held up as well as Johnny. He doesn't seem as agile as Johnny. Johnny seems to actually be doing a lot of the kicks. And that first spin kick I see the Karate Kid do in the car lot over the boba tea and that. Yeah, that was an absolute bad. That was one of the worst spin kicks I've actually seen. In fact, I actually pissed myself laughing when I see that spin kick. And then as the series has gone on, the fight scenes have definitely improved. But again, you've only got to take a look at certain characters and know that some are legit, some are not. But Johnny Lawrence, the guy that plays Johnny Lawrence, he's legit. For the most part, yeah. The one from the first season that's not on it, what I can think of, is the girl with the glasses and the mushroom haircut, and she's a bit mid-size, to put it on the. She's not fat, put it that way. But yeah, as you can see, she definitely wasn't as going to be as flexible, as trained, as have some of the energy as some of the others, right? So her scene was a bit lacklustering compared to some of the others. Just just a few text edits in the show. Yeah, I must admit, I think the show's really good. And the third season, like the storyline of it is absolutely crazy, right? So you thought the Karate Kid, it's like the first season. The whole time you've been rooting for the Karate Kid all through the films and that, and then the whole first series you're rooting for Johnny the whole time. Like the Karate Kid just seems like a stuck up, stishy, up his own ass bloke at this time, right? Nice, he's all calm and loving and loves his bonsai trees and that. Johnny's awesome, man. Johnny rocks. I really like that character, I must admit. And to be where he come from in the films, and then the way they tried to turn it around to say that actually, when you look at it, a Karate Kid come in and swoop my man's girlfriend and stuff like that. So maybe, so maybe it wasn't actually. Sorry, I'm rocking. So maybe it wasn't actually Johnny's fault, right? 1.2, not sure what that's to. Even Rogan has said it's not that bad. Yeah, it's definitely not that bad. Was that Joe? I love Joe Rogan, I must admit. Does say some funny stuff. And you know when you watch a Joe Rogan show that you can have an intellectual chat on there. You can have some great scientists and stuff like that. Or you can have one where he's got Elon Musk smoking weed, right? Absolutely crazy. That is what I've always followed the Joe Rogan show. That was one of the only podcasts I've ever watched. I have watched a few more recently. I do watch Flagrant now and then. I don't know whether anyone watches that or not. I mean, that's a New York based podcast, right? Where the guy's from New York. Means comedian. I actually spotted him doing doing comedy first, sorry. And then I spotted the show Flagrant. And then the one with Dildo Dennis the other night was actually really good. I must admit that was really good. And then he pulls out the fight anyway. Bloody dildo. Gussel, I do boxing for fitness, but in a real fight, MMA always win. MMA will always win. But if you're doing anything for fitness, boxing, MMA is always good for fitness. I'm not gonna lie to you, like some of them when I used to go to jiu-jitsu, we used to have this circuit training at one point. After 14 minutes of that, I was sick and I was considerably healthier at that point, right? So yeah, even for girls as well. And it's an interesting. I don't like lifting weights. There's a reason I'm skinny and a bit short and a bit like no muscles, right? Well, I'm less muscly now because I haven't been to the gym for a while, which is why I've started to go back, right? So I did start stacking it and then I've gone down again. But my intention's never been to build muscle when I go to the gym. My intention is to always train to be ready to fight just in case it ever happens, just in case you need to defend your family. Not that I got one, but just in case you need to defend your family, defend your missus, defend your kids, right? That's what it's about. Plus, I watched UFC and I sat there for about 10 years knowing every single name to every single choke, every single move. And I'm sat there thinking, how hard can it be, right? I literally know that move. I know that move. I've watched that so many times. I know these moves. Yeah, it's not the same when you actually get there, I must admit. And the techniques, there's a lot of like hidden little butterfly grips or stuff like that. You see what you don't actually see. But yeah. Yeah, exactly. Johnny would kick people's asses. Yeah, I love Johnny. I think that guy's great. Wrestling all day. Wrestling's a hard bit of work. All because of a bit from How I Met Your Mother. Well, I'm glad I know the show because I'm not sure this show exits because of a bit in that show. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Sorry. Look up How I Met Your Mother brought Cobra Kai alive. Oh, right. Is that? I have seen How I Met Your Mother, but I'm not really watched it. It's not really something a lot of people watch here. It is on English TV though. It's like Ray, right? Was it Everybody Loves Ray, right? I mean, that's a wicked show. That's been on for years, and like we still get repeats of that every morning. And because I used to work, well, because I've always worked nights, I used to get in at 6 o'clock in the morning. The only thing used to be on was that the what was the spy program with the two? Oh, what was it called? I used to love that show as well. Oh, the two spy guys. Oh, I can't remember. It was such a silly show as well, but it's really good. Bloody mine. Sorry, my mouse just keeps going flying. Let's have a look. I've watched every single Rogan podcast that ever come out. To be honest, I have watched nearly every single one. There's a couple of guests I don't really interest. Some people don't really, I just don't jive with that person. Tend not to watch them ones. But it's like the scientists and everyone. I didn't know half of them people was. I'm trying to think of him off the top of my head now, and I can't think of anyone, absolutely anyone. But yeah, I found a lot of channels from Joe Rogan podcast, and then you got a lot of fighters' insights, stuff like that behind the scenes. I mean, do you remember when he told Brendan Schaub that shouldn't be fighting anymore, or that he was getting pasted? Brendan had another fight coming up, but he just lost one, and he was telling him, as a friend, I'm so what? Yeah, he killed Brendan's career. Went on, told him to get into comedy. He's not very funny at all. But yeah, that was a whole man. That was a real friend watching out for you. I'm not gonna lie, that was a real friend watching out for you. But yeah, I remember it when it was just him in like a little bedroom with the other guy, and literally he was just talking rubbish. And they were so rough them first podcast, but he found the way to do it. You just talk like your mates. That's the perfect podcast right there. Off the cuff, have a drink, have a piff. Like it's the best way to do it. So yeah. It was just a comedy bit about Cobra Kai. So that was probably about Cobra Kai in the actual Karate Kid bits, probably. And then they brought that back. I mean, I'm glad they brought it back. I didn't expect anything. I didn't expect I'd be watching that 3 series in. And the next series, they've actually done really well with that. Okay, I got to hit the road. Love you too, buddy. I'll see you soon. I'm gonna hit the road soon. Have a great day, man. You deserve them. Thank you very much. Same to you, brother. Always good to show support to everyone. And if you are on later, send us a thing. Some reason that comment's not coming up. Brian Callen is trying to get him out of a fight again. Brian Callen, I actually kind of like Brian Callen. I think he's kind of funny. And he's good in the Goldbergs. I love the Gold. Do you guys have the Goldbergs? It's like an American show, right? But like a lot of the time when we got American shows, we don't the Americans don't normally tend to watch them sort of shows. A lot of the time when we get the shows from America, it's not the sort of shows Americans tend to. Not a lot of people in America watch porn stars, right, and stuff like that. Whereas in England, that shit was all over the show forever. Whereas not a lot of Americans, I don't think, not as a lot of Americans are that pulled in. Because it's like when you find, it's like if you watch Porn Stars UK, you see these UK people, right? And they're all stood there, they've got their umbrella and their tea, they're dressed in their tea suit and their top hat and all this. But no one walks around the UK like that anymore. You literally picked 10 numpties that are the most, what's the word for it? Oh, I'm trying to think of what the word is. You try to pick the most typical UK person, what the rest of the world thinks is UK. So, Taddeo and all this bollocks. No one speaks like that here. No one speaks like that here, right? And it's the same for the American one. When we get the American ones, they're always crazy. They're always, yeah, every like everything that's going on, just yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like, bro, in England, it's just like you don't see it, right? And I'm not sure we get true representation. Like when we get some of the American people on there, it's like they tend to always pick the stupidest Americans to put on TV. Same way they do with the English. They put the typical stupid English people, what you think, about the tea in the suit and tea, or the farmer looking chaps and stuff. Come on, man. Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why they do that, but they do seem to do that. They do seem to do that. Oh, yeah, he started me on one now. John Joe Stipe. Yeah. Why can't I say his name? Miocic. Yeah, it was a close try, right? For someone with a lisp. But still coming up in November. As far as I know, John Jones is milking it a bit. He milked the bodybuilding. Well, he milked the building the size up for 3 years, I must admit. And that other fight, yes, it was over quick, but did we see enough of John Jones to know really whether he's still going to be as top quality as he was? And the opponent, Cyril Game, by the way, that was an absolute shocking opponent. I knew Cyril Game was getting knocked out, and I knew it was going to be quick. Cyril Game wasn't on that level. He's got a power punch, but he was not on Jones's level. I don't even know how he got that fight, I must admit. That was kind of like a given fight to John, I think. Warm-up one. Hey, what's up, Charles? What's up? Would you rather have a secret rare comic or a low mint originals comic cover on veve? Would you rather have secret rare or low mint originals? Oh, right. I'm with you. Well, one of the originals is the ultra rare. So for price wise, you're always going to want the secret rare because you can always flip that and then buy what you want out of the collection. I mean, you're always going to hope for a secret rare, whether you like it or not. You're always going to hope for the more valuable one. That way, if you do get it, you can always sell that one and then buy the ultra rare, the uncommon, right? So I think I would rather the other two, 100 million%. But if I land the secret rare, I'm going to be happy to take that money and then reinvest it into another. And again, I should explain to you all, I am going for the Funko. I'm English, so it's going to cost me an extra $60 more than it would anyone else because it's 150. It's going to cost me $200. I am going to try and get some physical of these comics. I don't know what's available yet. There's 18 different variations. Some are being signed at a 9.8. Whether or not they're in slabs or not is another story because that's also costing to then get that graded in the first place, put them in slabs. So it's all adding to cost. You don't know what they're going to be yet. If they're £10 a comic, $6.99 a comic, all day long you're laughing. Like everyone there is going to buy stacks of them. Like, and if you don't, you're an idiot. I'm personally going to buy that comic. I'm going to buy 4 of them comics on the digital drop just because it's veve's first comic. Now, do veve then release another 20 comics with this same partnership and then do what they've done with the one-on-ones, where the one-on-ones was a great first start. Everyone was so excited, 30 grand or 50 grand or whatever it was. And then all of a sudden the one-on-ones are coming now and it's, $1.50 to start the bidding, and it's normally ends up at $1.50 because it got to the point where they've done so many one-on-ones. are the one-on-ones worth anything now? Because yes, they're one-on-ones, but there's so many one-on-ones. Does anyone look for the one-on-ones? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So yeah, I have been on here 2.5 hours now. So I'm probably gonna love you and leave you. Thank you everyone that's been here. I'm sorry if I've ranted in places. I'm sorry if I've fudded places. Well, I haven't fudded in places. I've just been honest, let's face it. So yeah, I'm sorry if I've spoken rubbish or I've slurred or whatever else. I hope this was a good video. I will start doing the actual Bob Sales dig videos now, and I will try and catch up with some of them drops next week and do some drop streams for them drops, because there's some I'm looking forward to, some I'm not looking forward to, some I think are really not exciting at all, I must admit. But then the X-Men's really exciting. The physical stuff, like all three physical partnerships, that's tickling Bob's feet, I must admit. That is where that's excitement. That's bringing excitement to Bob, I must admit. That's where it really is bringing excitement. But again, worldwide app, I'm stuck in the UK. Where's my Funko? Where's my, like, I've got to pay extra for everything if I want it. And again, I'm going after everything. I'm going to pay for everything extra. That's how much it means to me. So should you base your decisions on that? I think so. Not financial advice, but yeah, I think that stuff's worth getting. Again, I'm not going to pay 4K on some Sea Warrior shoes, although I do like the shoes. They're not quite my type. But although I like the shoes, I've not got a spare 4 grand to be chucking at anything like that. So anyway, thank you very much, everyone. I've loved you very much. Fun under the sun says, great job. Thank you for having me. Gus, thank you for all you do in the space, brother. Thank you very much. I know the algos hate me, I must admit. Only Daily Burn, you're so late right now. You could have actually come on the stream with me. But yeah, you're so late. I'm literally about to leave. So yeah, and anytime you want to do a stream only, David Byrne, welcome over to my side anytime, or I'll come your side anytime. I know you've been a bit busy with family life and stuff recently, not been doing so much with the videos because you're still building your site. He's actually making a great site. So when that comes out, obviously go join it. Obviously join the veve community space, what he's just created as well. I'm actually in there myself. So yeah, that's another way you can share your veve stuff. Bond with the community. So anyway, I love you all anyway. It's been fun. I've been your host, Bob Sales. What's this? Gotta have celebrity. Yeah, well, I actually think them shoes will actually bring celebrities. Celebrities buy them shoes. Whether or not there's going to be celebrities that like Marvel necessarily and that like fashion is a different story. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. It's a bit of a weird crossover, but I'm sure there's going to be some, right? And then for the Spider-Man actresses, all the females that play all the Spider-Man movies, all the female Marvel characters and that, they could be wearing them shoes very soon. And it could potentially get big money into the app or celebrity money into that. So anyway, I am going to love you and leave you now. So I've been your host, Bob Sales. This time next year, we will be millionaires. A peace. Oosh.